As the season continues on, undefeated, now 11-0 on the season, one thing grows: the pressure to remain undefeated, the attention to the media, the bullseye on the back, and that will to prove something that going into a season everyone thought was capable of, but wasn't for sure. Now doubts have turned into excitement, but with that excitement comes the pressure. Welcome to Live Ticket TV. Welcome to the pregame show as we get you set for a Friday night of high school hoops in Garretson, South Dakota, which features two intriguing matchups. On the flip coin of it all, we see two teams that are getting off to some of their worst starts in program's history. At least for the Vermillion boys, it certainly hasn't been a start that they were hoping for, but one they're hoping to get corrected. After a couple tough opponents these past couple of weeks, and a game that did not happen yesterday against the number 3 team in Class A, they finally draw a team that hasn't won a game yet this season. The Garretson Blue Dragons have stopped kind of their basketball mentality of focusing on basketball and just focusing on the bigger picture of life, hoping that that can reset this team and try to find some more wins. Two teams that come from some of the toughest conferences in not only Class A, but also some of the toughest regions, Region 3 and Region 4. Along with Cole Larsh, I'm Heath Nimke. What a wonderful night of high school hoops we have for you, for the Vermillion boys and for the Vermillion girls. As I was just talking about it, going back to the Vermillion girls, this media attention just continues to rise. It seems like every game you open up, there's some type of news article that is out there. There's some type of video camera more than ever before that's on the court shooting the girls. Of course, the media attention right within here of what we do with Live Ticket TV continues to grow. 11-0 is great to be. And in fact, you're going to hear later on a lot of respect paid by Coach Schrank of the Garretson Blue Dragons. In fact, Coach Matt Schrank told me off air about the Vermillion Tanagers. He said, Heath, at the beginning of the season, I was one that voted them inside the top 3 according to the coaches because I thought it was just that good of a team. But one thing Coach Schrank has ready for his team is to take down an undefeated Tanagers team, a team that is now 6-2 for the Blue Dragons and looking to finally get past this region. Region 3, as I mentioned, Sioux Falls Christian. You have West Central in there. The Garretson Blue Dragons have never been able to get to the Sodak 16 because of those two teams. But now chinks in the armor are seen this year, and they're hoping more than ever that they can get a statement win tonight and get ready for a big rest of their season, and it all begins hopefully with an upset. On the opposite side, you look at teams that have so much success. We talk about the balanced scoring against teams. We see the defense causing over 20-plus turnovers a ball game against basketball teams. We see the bench, how deep they can go, the constant rotation. It seems like Vermillion has basically everything you need to be a state tournament team and maybe even a state winning team, except maybe one aspect that was missing. We felt like we saw in the beginning of this season with a lot of scoring from Brooke Jensen, but when it came to Tuesday evening against Elk Point Jefferson trailing, and it just seemed like they couldn't get the shots to go, Brooke Jensen turned into what we like to call a winning machine. Knowing her team was struggling at times, she put her team on her back and went and got 10 of her 19 points in that fourth quarter. That killer instinct is what really separates teams from being good to a great team to even a state champion team, when you can rely on a girl that knows the pressure is on, knows they need help, and can go and get it done. The question is, can you continue to rely on Brooke Jensen, or can this offense finally come along? In the first 5 games of the season, 3 different times, we saw the Vermillion girls put up 62 points. We always say in girls basketball, if you can get to 50, you're going to win a lot of ball games. But if you can get to 60, you're going to win every single game. Can they get back to that winning mark of high scoring along with the defense helping out? Certainly going to be a tough task tonight. Coming up here on the pregame show, we're going to catch up with head coach Matt Schrank. We're going to catch up with John Brooks. Later on, we'll catch up with both head coaches of Coach Jay Drake and Coach Heitkamp of the Garretson Blue Dragons and talk more about that boys matchup, and of course also talk about the weather from yesterday and also talk a little bit more about what Live Ticket TV has to offer when it comes to wrestling tomorrow in the DAC-12 tournament in Dakota Valley. That is all on the way here on the pregame show on Live Ticket TV.
Limestone canyons, flowing waterfalls, and pristine beauty make Spearfish a sanctuary for those seeking the ultimate escape. Outdoor enthusiasts will find top-notch sport climbing, mountain biking, and UTV OHV trails. Guests are steps away from peaceful hiking trails and tranquil streams. Relax and rehash your day's adventure at one of our award-winning local breweries. Finding rest is an important part of any adventure. Lodging in Spearfish comes with a variety of choices, from cabins, B&Bs, and campgrounds to the comforts of your popular brand-name hotels. To find your unique adventure in Spearfish, go to visitspearfish.com now.
If you are self-motivated, accountable, and eager to learn new skills, we'd love to talk to you about a rock star career. Masaba in Vermillion is hiring full and part-time manufacturing positions for the rock industry. Masaba provides comprehensive training in a clean, safe, and state-of-the-art facility. Masaba offers competitive wages, a fun and interesting work environment and culture. Join our team of rock stars. Visit masabainc.com to learn more.
Welcome back to the pregame show here on the Live Ticket TV, your home for Vermillion Athletics. Been a busy week for us already. Of course, had basketball Tuesday night, along with wrestling as well. More basketball last night. We get set for more DAC-12 wrestling coming up tomorrow, I guess, throughout the entire day. We'll have, again, the coverage right here on Live Ticket TV, but right now we're getting you set for a doubleheader of girls-boys basketball between the Garretson Blue Dragons and the Vermillion Tanagers. We'll talk more about the girls' success as it continues on, now 11-0 overall, again, still number 2 in Class A, receiving 3 votes to be in first place. And, of course, as we've heard so far from coaches say, that puts now a huge bullseye on the back of these girls. And when it comes to the Garretson Blue Dragons, they are no slouch of a team, picking up teams a lot more often now from the DAC-12. They are a Big East team, but again, play some DAC-12 teams and also play inside Region 3A, which is arguably one of the toughest regions, along with Region 4A, to get out of when it comes to postseason play. In fact, I was able to catch up with head coach Matt Schrank and talk more about the Big East Conference that's coming up for the Garretson Blue Dragons, what it's like playing inside Region 3A, and how they get ready for the Vermillion Tanagers and the matchup tonight. Here he is on our pregame show. It's head coach of the Garretson Lady Blue Dragons, Matt Schrank. Well, Coach Matt, as you join us on another pregame show for another season, we appreciate your time. Before we talk about this matchup against the Vermillion Tanagers, I know you've gotten to see a little bit on film. Of course, you've been able to watch some games out there as well on the Vermillion Tanagers. But first off, your squad just continues to reload year in and year out. Right now, coming in with another great winning record of 6-2. Coach, what are the expectations going into this season for your squad?
Hi. I think you always want to have high expectations and kind of demand the best that you can out of your players. But it also depends on kind of what kind of kids you got. And I feel like we had some kids that were hungry for expectations, and we actually talk about that every day. That the expectation when we walk in the gym that we hold each other accountable to be our best. And so as far as successful season goes, we were looking at trying to make a little run in our region here. We feel like it's a little bit more open than it has been in the past. And then we also knew that, especially here in January, we got some games on the schedule that are going to test us and see where we stand as far as Class A basketball goes. And so, yeah, I think you have to go in and expect the best.
Continue off of something you just said there. I always argue that when it comes to basketball, the Pac-12 might be one of the toughest conferences out there. If you focus more on regions, I would argue that it's either going to be 3A or 4A with the region because of your team, Sioux Falls Christian, West Central. What is it like playing inside Region 3A and know that it seems like every single game is going to be a dogfight?
Yeah, I mean, we're not, the past, I would say 4 years, we've had this, mountaintop to climb of West Central and Sioux Falls Christian, West Central and Sioux Falls Christian, and, they're both very good teams again this year, but we kind of just see maybe a little crack in the sunroof where it's like, okay, I think we can compete a little bit more this year, and these teams have some gaps that they haven't ever had here in the last 4 years. But then you go to Region 4, and it's not only heavy at the top, but gosh dang, it's deep too. And so, we're maybe not as deep as Region 4 is in this year and the next few years because there's so many great young players in that region and those teams. But, we've talked plenty as coaches and coaches in different sports here that just in Garretson that you can either kind of complain and whine the region that you're in or enjoy the fact that you get to go up against some of the best all the time and there's chances of knocking them out.
And I don't mean to continue to keep taking away from this game that is coming up because, this is a huge matchup against Vermillion, but you also play in the Big East Conference. You just got announced of that conference tournament that's coming up. You're going to get Beersford in the first round, and then it's treated like, I guess, a state tournament, if you will. You're going to play 3 different days. You're going to play out the entire tournament. How nice is it to participate in something like that where you see a lot of great teams, not just from the region, but also in the Big East Conference? Yeah,
I thoroughly enjoy it, to be honest. I know a lot of coaches in the Big East have been wanting to get rid of it. You see these teams over and over again. Mm-hmm. I'm a big college basketball fan, so for me, you get your conference basketball tournament. And you get to play in a style like a state tournament. It is. It's a mini state tournament over the last weekend in January every year, and we look forward to it. And for us, we drew the 4 seed. A little disappointed because we drew a lower seed. But we are the defending champs of that Big East Conference basketball tournament from last year, and boy, if we needed a little fuel to the fire, it's getting that 4th seed. So I'm excited to be able to. I don't think our girls know it yet, so I'm excited to announce it at practice today and say, you know what, it's time for us to show who we are and represent Garretson. So it's a fun tournament. You know your conference kids more than you know everybody else, and when you get to see some of those teams twice a year, it seems fitting that I know some of those girls from Flandreau or Sioux Valley or McCook at more of a personal level because we see them so much. That's what the game of basketball is about.
It certainly is, and I will have themselves validated in Region 3A. They know it's going to be a tough task getting out of the region, but tonight is a really good proving point to see if they can do exactly that. Garretson Blue Dragons 6-2 overall, looking to finally get out of a region that hosts, along with Garretson, West Central, and Sioux Falls Christian. And if they can make their impact tonight against the Vermillion Tanagers, they would certainly be more in a conversation than ever before of being a team to watch to get a chance of making it to the SODAC 16. We just got done hearing from head coach Matt Schrenk. Let's turn our attention now to head coach John Brooks of the Vermillion girls, who talks more in depth about that victory the other night against the Elk Point Jefferson Huskies, talking about Garretson, who hasn't had much practice to get ready for Vermillion, and is a loss a good thing for the Vermillion girls? Does it finally relieve some pressure off of them if they were to lose a game? Maybe not tonight, but later on down the road. Here he is on our pregame show. It's head coach of the Vermillion girls, John Brooks. Coach Brooks, a lot to unpack as we get ready for the Garretson Blue Dragons, and it can all date back, I guess, basically from Tuesday evening to where we find ourselves at now. We knew going into Wednesday, if you will, that there was a potential for snowstorms. Now, it seems like everyone might have jumped the gun a little bit and started canceling school, letting things out early before practice could happen for some schools. And then all of a sudden we got hit late Wednesday evening and then no school Thursday, which means no practice. So walk us through the past 48 hours. What has kind of getting the girls getting ready for Garretson look like?
Yeah, the last time we've been in the gym together was Tuesday night at Elk Point. So never like going into a game without getting scouting and prep and all that kind of stuff done. Especially as a coach, you kind of try to rely on those things and get kids prepared. So we're kind of walking into this one blind, but I know Garretson was out of school on Thursday as well, so they're probably in a pretty similar situation as us.
Now, looking back at the game against Elk Point Jefferson, of course, there's been a lot of attention. You get a 1-point victory. Taylor Rivers hits the free throw there at the end. It was great to see. But I thought there was a different performance in that game from Brooke Jensen. She reminded me a lot of Lexi Plitzowite from a few years ago, where Lexi could put the team on her back and go get some points when the team needed it the most to find a win. How great is that to see from Brooke Jensen as a sophomore, that she has that ability to basically take over a game and find a way to win for Vermillion?
She was huge in the fourth quarter. And, teams are obviously keen on Brooke right now. And that's something that she's working through. She's still very young and kind of understanding what teams are doing to her and how to handle that within the game. And we needed her in the fourth quarter, and she stepped up like a big-time player like she is. And, the last couple of games she hasn't scored quite as much, but she's a super confident kid. And you could see, once again, that fourth quarter, you could almost see the light bulb come on in her again, where she was starting to score it, she was getting confident, and she made some really tough finishes inside, hit a three. So we needed that out of her. Without that, we probably don't get out of there with a win.
I also think when it comes to this offense, those first 8-9 games, it felt like we were talking about the consistency. Everything's been great. And the balanced scoring. No one's going off for big numbers every night. It's hard to scout. Don't get me wrong, that's great. But all of a sudden, you have a player like Leah Plitzowite who puts up 16 against Wagner, then hits 2 free throws. How much do you need the scoring to be a little bit more consistent, of everyone getting close right around that 6-7 mark to feel a little bit more comfortable?
Yeah, that's really nice when we can get everybody, 6 or more. But I think we're also in the situation where if kid doesn't have a great night, somebody else usually steps up, and not all teams have that luxury. And it was nice to get Brooklyn going again. I think she had 8 against Oak Point, get her to get the ball going through the hoop again, because we need her scoring as well. So, we stress balance with our kids, sharing the basketball, getting everybody involved, because we do have a lot of scorers. So we need to get back to that against these really good teams that we play in order to have chances to win.
I'm going to ask you an honest question. I want an honest answer. I know I'm going to catch some flack for it, but I hear a lot of other coaches say off air that when it comes to these kind of seasons where things seem to be going so right and everything's going well, you don't mind a loss eventually, just to know what it feels like before you hit the postseason, even before potentially playing in a state tournament. Not that's going to happen against Garretson, but do you think a loss would take a little bit more or less pressure off these girls to remain undefeated?
It's hard. It's a tough question, like you said. And so far, we just haven't noticed much change in our girls, and obviously, we're not going to ever try to lose a game. We're trying to win every time we step on the floor. But we have some really, really tough games coming up. And with Garretson and, the Sioux Falls Christians and the Laverns that we're getting in classics. And when we go up to the classic up in Madison, we're going to draw Hamlin or Sisseton, and we still have conference games left. There's a long ways to go. So that's what we kind of been telling the girls. Don't get ahead of yourselves. The old coaching cliche, take one game at a time, and that's really what we're trying to focus on right now. And I feel like if we can do that, our girls seem comfortable. They all seem in a good spot right now.
no doubt about it, when it comes to this Garretson Blue Dragons team, they paid a lot of respect to you, including Coach Matt, who said, hey, this was a top 3 team at the very beginning of the season before we even tipped off our first game, and they have completely proven Coach Matt correct so far with the girls on the perfect season so far. Garretson, though, is a team that has always come out of this Region 3A. They've always had Sioux Falls Christian. They've always had West Central in the way. They've never been able to get out of their region. But this is a sneaky Sodak 16 team every year. What makes the Blue Dragons another dangerous team going into this matchup?
Yeah, Garretson's very good. Very, very talented. Matt does a great job with them. Another team that plays in our summer league with us, so they know us well. We know them well. They're a DAC 12 caliber team when we look at like their size, their athleticism, their guard play. Bly for them is as talented as they get. 6-foot guard that can shoot the 3, post up, do a lot of different things. They're big inside. The Olsen girl is extremely talented, and the Williams girl at guard. So there is, they just lost a close one at Sioux Falls Christian a couple days ago on Tuesday by 6 or 7, and we all know how good Sioux Falls Christian is. So we will have to play at a very high level here in Garretson in order to get out of here with a win.
Another thing on paper with Garretson is you outsized them. You did that against Oak Point Jefferson, but we didn't really necessarily see a lot of post play, a lot of points with inside the paint. Now, don't get me wrong, that was a part because of foul trouble immediately in that first quarter. How important is that to get corrected, not just against Garretson, but going throughout the rest of this season?
Yeah, we got to win the paint. And, I thought we did a pretty good job for the first half against Oak Point of getting the ball around the paint and around the hoop, but we just didn't finish anything. We pulled inside. We were too quick with our shots. We weren't getting squared up. So, that was something that we're hoping to practice here and work on the last couple days in practice. But those practices obviously didn't happen. So we'll have to talk our way through that with the girls. We got to get back to really doing a good job of controlling the paint, because when we do that, then that opens up our outside shots, and we have some good shooters on the outside, and it just kind of opens up our offense altogether. Do
road trips matter anymore? Because we talk about this towards the beginning of the season against Madison. You get a win. A Corn Palace, just such a weird deal there. Such a late evening game, of course, traveling all the way up to Mitchell. Then you spend the night there and come back Sunday. Garretson, another far road trip for this squad. Does that matter anymore? Do you feel confident with this team when they have to make these long trips?
It feels like we've been on the road all season. We haven't even games in it. We just kind of sprinkle one in every once in a while. So hopefully the girls are getting used to that, and we can finally get one home game next week, which will be nice. But this is a tough schedule, and we're trying to win on the road. Those things are making us better. They're making us tougher for when postseason play comes around. So I know our girls are excited to get back on the floor, and hopefully we can play well against a really good Garretson team tonight.
Once again, that is head coach John Brooks here on the pregame show, and going off that a little bit more of talking about not just trying to win against Garretson, but also something else we mentioned about being on the road so much this season. It is different, unlike any other season that we have seen recently from the Vermillion Tanagers. He mentioned these tournaments that the girls are participating in. This is all in an attempt to try to continue to beef up this season. Maybe not always heard from coaches, but more behind closed doors. I will say this much. Coaches do judge other teams based on strength of schedule, how many teams you play. Yes, no doubt about it. Vermillion is always going to have a tough schedule when it comes to playing Region 4 opponents and DAC 12 opponents. But in those 5-6 other games that aren't Region or DAC 12 opponents, coaches look at it and say, who did you go and pick up? A nice example is T. They always go get AA teams because they're preparing themselves to make that jump here in the near future, whereas Vermillion is also doing that as they know they have the talent to hang with the best teams, whatever team, whatever class it may be here in the state of South Dakota, Minnesota, and around the area. I'm Heath Nimke. This is the Live Ticket TV pregame show as we're getting you set for doubleheader action between the Garretson Blue Dragons and the Vermillion Tanagers. Our starting 5 and the tip is next here on Live Ticket TV.
At Northern State University, your future starts with an affordable education that's personalized for you. Experience hands-on learning guided by world-class supportive faculty. You'll also enjoy a full campus life with opportunities to choose from numerous student activities and events, all in a safe, welcoming community. At Northern, you'll find a college that's right for you, a place to belong. Your future starts here. Unleash your potential at Northern.
The innocence of youth. Is there anything any better? But soon they'll be in high school and facing all the same challenges you faced. How to make friends, how to fit in, how to be cool. We want our children to have everything they'll need to live fulfilling and productive lives. Make sure the kids in your family are among the more than 57,000 participants here in South Dakota who take part in high school sports or activities.
Farmers know crop insurance is essential for managing risk. It's also valuable for maximizing revenue. The crop insurance officers at Farm Credit Services of America have proprietary tools and expertise to deliver the personalized crop and revenue protection you need for the peace of mind you want. Nobody delivers crop insurance like this. Discover the difference by calling 800-884-FARM. Agriculture works here.
Birds like tanagers are great at flying out of the way to miss your car. Deer and other drivers are not. If you're in any kind of accident, bring your vehicle to Blaine's Body Shop in Vermillion. We repair your vehicle to pre-accident condition and handle the entire process from start to finish, including an accurate estimate and dealing with the insurance adjuster. So good luck to the tanagers, and if you're in an accident, bring your vehicle to
Blaine's Body Shop. Blaine's Body Shop. Automotive collision repair.
Let's be real. You work. You worry. You wait. You wonder. These are the challenges of life on the farm. As a community bank, First Bank & Trust understands this rural reality. We're big enough to help ag producers grow for the future and small enough to get to know you right now. Our ag bankers have ag backgrounds, which means we'll help you work through the tough years and make the most of the great ones. First Bank & Trust. Real banking, real easy.
This is what matters. This is beyond X's and O's. This is the difference mutual respect makes. This is what character looks like. This is what defines us in South Dakota. This is sportsmanship. School sports, it's not the outcome that matters most, but the way the games are played. This message presented by the South Dakota High School Activities Association and the South Dakota Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
Like these, it's good to know there's a place where people know who you are, no matter how long you've been gone. A place where the smells of home cooking are still in the air, where a simple wave warms your heart, and sharing stories is just a way of life. It's good to be home. Agraria Insurance Company, protecting what's important in life. Contact your local Agraria Insurance Company agent.
Well, welcome back to Garretson High School as we get you set for this matchup between the 11-0, ranked number 2 in Class A, Vermillion Tanagers, the 6-3 Garretson Blue Dragons. Let's meet our starting five for both Garretson and Vermillion. We'll begin with the home team, the Garretson Blue Dragons. As we mentioned, 6-3 overall, coming in at 2-1 in the Big and East, and also 3-1 inside Region 3. Tonight's starting five will be number 5, Jordan Williams, the 5'9 junior guard. Number 10, Logan Bly, the 5'10 senior forward. Number 13, Kylie Christensen, the 5'9 junior forward. Number 20, Regan Altman, the 5'6 senior guard. And finally, number 24, Sydney Olson, the 5'7 junior guard. The Garretson Blue Dragons remain without Anna Jones this year due to a torn ACL during the volleyball season. The coaches for the Blue Dragons are Matt Schrank, along with assistant coaches Bev Howe and Amber Wilson. For the Vermillion Tanagers, it's now the starting five they've had for 8 of their 11 games. It'll be number 1, Casey Hansen, the 5'8 sophomore guard. Number 15, Leah Herbster, the 6'1 senior center. Number 21, Brooklyn Voss, the 5'11 junior guard. Number 22, Janaea Cleveland, the 5'8 junior guard. And number 33, Brooke Jensen, the 6'1 sophomore guard. Again, the Tanagers 11-0 overall, 4-0 inside Region 4, and an impressive 7-0 inside the DAC-12. Of course, head coach John Brook, along with assistant coaches Doug Hansen, Mrs. Jensen, and Coach Kelly Knutson. We are set and ready to go. And Garretson, South Dakota, after snowstorms, canceled our single game for the Vermillion boys yesterday, which has now been moved to a doubleheader coming up on February 2nd in Vermillion. We had decent roads getting up to Garretson, and now Vermillion, after their past 3 games that have seen them win by a combined 12 points, trying to make a statement here on this Friday evening. As the ball is in the air, won by the Tanagers. Vermillion will move from right to left as you see it, wearing their red uniforms, numbers and letters that are in white, outlined by black, the Garretson Blue Dragons, and they're all white uniforms. Brooke Jensen off the glass and good for 2, and that's exactly the way Vermillion wants to start. The past few first quarters have been a struggle for the Vermillion girls shooting, and when you can get that first bucket immediately, it builds confidence. By the way, the Tanagers are allowing teams to shoot 29% from 3, as here is one. This one's too strong, whereas the Vermillion girls are also shooting 29% from 3 land. They would like to see that number bump up a little bit. It's Voss back out to Janaea Cleveland, over to Casey Hansen, who continues to wear that knee brace, down to Leah Herbster, too strong, but there is Voss. Back out, Janaea Cleveland over to Casey Hansen. She'll shoot the 3. This one off the back of the iron, but it's another offensive rebound, and Vermillion will recycle an offense. Back to Casey Hansen, back to the top to Janaea Cleveland. They want to get it inside to Leah Herbster. She's open, jumper is no good, and finally it's going to be rebounded by the Garretson Blue Dragons and Kylie Christensen. 2-0, 6:50. First quarter, Vermillion got the bucket right away. Quick turnover. Casey Hansen steals it away to Brooke Jensen. Lets the defender jump up. Brooke Jensen quickly 4 points in the ball game. 6:35 first quarter. The press is on, but scooting by it all the way to the rack. Too strong. Missed shot there for Jordan Williams. Vermillion on the rebound. Quickly the opposite way. Voss goes up with a shot. Ball goes out of bounds. Should be a foul called there. Nothing doing. Voss went up through contact, certainly had her left hand stripped from underneath the ball. Again, no foul called, and she will also come out of the ball game as they'll now bring in Cleveland. 3-pointer from Casey Hansen is off the mark, so both Clevelands are currently on the court. A pass that's going to go to Brooke Jensen. She saved the ball, but it went right to the Garretson Blue Dragons, and now a drive, foul call the other way, and quickly Leah Herbster picks up her first, but also a discrepancy when it comes to fouls. Tougher of a play down here on the near side as we see it that wasn't called for a foul was Leah Herbster called for maybe a little bit more of a ticky-tack foul. It'll be Altman to shoot the free throws. First one is good. It's the first points for the Garretson Blue Dragons as well. 4-1, 6-12 first quarter. Along with Cole Larsh, our producer, color man of the evening, we see another quick substitution. So whatever the substitution was for Voss, something had to be wrong that she had to come out for just a moment as she is back out there. 4-2, 6:08 first quarter. So again, the Vermillion starting five is back on the court. Casey Hansen has it, cycles it over, now to Jensen, to the corner with Janaea Cleveland, to Casey Hansen, trying to get it back down underneath the Leah Herbster, inside, triple team. Herbster gets it back into Janaea Cleveland, lost it for a moment, fight for the ball, goes out of bounds. Again, Vermillion, the size underneath is favorable to them, but immediately we do see them already struggling to get up shots, going through contact, and not quite having the confidence from underneath. 4-2, Vermillion a 2-point lead, 5:41 first quarter. Brooke Jensen has all 4 points for the Vermillion Tanagers. Now reach in, it's the third turnover for the Blue Dragons. Jensen has it, quickly up to Janaea Cleveland. Cleveland brings it back out, over now to Casey Hansen with the high pass, able to control inside to Jensen. Turnaround jumper for her is off the heel of the iron. So after making their first bucket, Vermillion starting to go a little cold. Quickly in the front court, glow the Blue Dragons as they try to step their offense, just drive it in. Sydney Olsen has her pocket picked from behind. Jump ball called. It does favor the Garretson Blue Dragons, so it will stay Blue Dragon basketball underneath their own hoop. 4-2, first quarter, 5:16. Inbound as they quickly get it into Olsen. Olsen the drive, throws it off the bottom of the backboard. Or actually the outside it came off of, it looked like. The official said she stepped out of bounds to call the play over with. Nonetheless, Vermillion basketball. Casey Hansen all the way back to Brooke Jensen as the Blue Dragons trying to apply a little bit of the press. Voss inside, and she's going to travel. Shot never went through anyways. Cole, if you're Vermillion, you got to break that press quickly. And if they can do it, Vermillion, they're going to find some open buckets.
Right, and that's, or you want to kind of take it slower, and some presses are designed for you to go faster, some are designed for you to go slower. But if Garretson wants Vermillion to get sped up, which I think, based on film and how these last few first quarters have gone, I think they want to kind of speed them up, get them off their track.
4:49 first quarter, 4-2. It's a 2-point lead for the Vermillion Tanagers. A pass, Janaea Cleveland deflects it out of bounds. It will stay with the Garretson Blue Dragons as they were trying to get it into Williams. Williams averages 11 points here for the Blue Dragons. In fact, 2 girls average double figures for the Blue Dragons. Otherwise, pretty balanced scoring. They don't go deep necessarily into their bench. Maybe about 2 at the most, 3 sometimes. Controlled with Olsen as she's being guarded closely by Janaea Cleveland. 5 seconds on the shot clock. The Garretson Blue Dragons need to find something. It's down to 2-1. They're never going to get a shot away. Not paying attention to the shot clock. The Garretson Blue Dragons never get the shot away. Great defense. It's now the 4th turnover already. Again, Vermillion forces teams into an average 22 turnovers a ball game. By the way, the only common opponent these two teams have played so far this season, Tri-Valley. Garretson won by 16, Vermillion won by 19. Pass that goes out to Brooklyn Foss. Back inside, they try to force it to Brooke Jensen. And the Garretson Blue Dragons are forcing in on Jensen, trying to take her away. Quick transition bucket, too strong off the back iron. And again, the Vermillion Tanagers quickly into the front court. Janaea Cleveland tosses it over to Casey Hansen. Now underneath to Leah Herbster. The size advantage, but she can't hit. Back up goes Brooke Jensen. She can't hit. Fight for the ball. And it's going to be a jump ball called. Vermillion is going to have possession. 4-2, 3:53 first quarter. And a girl is down right now for the Blue Dragons. Not getting up at the moment is Ashley Harris. Harris is bent over in a heap. Ready to check on is Fink in a moment. Or excuse me, that was Kylie Christensen who was down. Taking a deep breath, and she's going to come out of the ball game. She indicates that she's fine, but again, it'll be Fink now to replace her. 4-2, first quarter, 3:53. Claire Doty to inbound, as again, they try to force it right away to Brooke Jensen. An immediate turnover. They are just telegraphing the passes to Jensen. 3-pointer, this one way too weak for Williams. The Blue Dragons try to save it. Cole, Vermillion has become so one-dimensional so far in this first quarter with their offense.
Yeah, it's kind of what we've seen these past 3 games with Vermillion. First quarter is not good, just trying to force up shots, trying to force it to 1 or 2 specific people, and they're just not getting anything going. Luckily, the same thing's been happening for Garretson, or else this would be a completely different story.
Down to Brooke Jensen once again, able to break free this time. And Brooke Jensen now 6 points in the first quarter, 3:26. It's a 4-point lead for the Vermillion Tanagers, which matches their biggest lead of the game when at one point they led it 4-0. Try forcing their pass. It's now the 6th turnover for the Garretson Blue Dragons. It's Roovers who puts down the dribble, work it over to the wing. All the way back out to Rivers. Catch and shoot three for the 7th grader. This one off the heel of the iron. Trying to get the offensive rebound. Tip back out to Claire Doty to Casey Hansen. Hansen forces it back over to Doty. Back to Casey Hansen as they play keep away for the moment. Back to Doty as they try to figure out the zone underneath to Rivers. Back out to Casey Hansen. She'll catch and shoot three. Gets it. Casey Hansen rings in the three. First Tanager to score, that's not Brooke Jensen, and Vermillion up to a 7-point lead. Claire Doty jumps the pass, couldn't get it back though, still in the backcourt, and now a timeout called from a head coach, Matt Schrank. Matt Schrank uses his first 30-second timeout. Matt Schrank put Vermillion at number 2, according to the coaches poll before the season even began. Of course, there's been a lot of conversation. Vermillion deserves to be inside the top 5. Last week, they were ranked number 4, including receiving 1 first-place vote. And then going into this week, they jumped all the way up to number 2 after the win against Wagner. Some people call that a surprising move, but again, when it comes to the media standard, it's not a surprising move. They always value teams more that haven't had a loss yet this season than that have had a loss. Or for St. Thomas More, 2 losses. And again, Vermillion not only jumped to 2, but also received 3 first-place votes and not just 1. So the attention is on the Vermillion girls. And a big matchup coming up tomorrow as well. Number 1, Hamlin will be taking on Florence Henry, who's receiving votes, a.k.a. number 16, if you will, according to the media. A quick turnover by Brooke Jensen as she tried to force it across the timeline. It's with the Garretson Blue Dragons as they have a baseline jumper. This one misses everything. As you mentioned, Cole, maybe not the best offensive spark for Vermillion, but you have to be happy that Garretson can't hit anything right now.
Right, happy and almost feel a little bit lucky that Garretson just couldn't hit the broadside of a barn if they really tried right now.
9-2, inbound they go. Into the corner, bounce pass back to the top. And again, this is a Garretson team that averages 54 points a ball game. So they can score, and they can score in bunches. And Cleveland traveled. I didn't see the travel there. It looked like she took her 2 steps and then pulled up. Had to say some type of drag if you're going to call that a travel. 2:03 first quarter, 9-2, 7-point lead. Cole motions that he's not going to say a word there because he agrees with me. Over to the corner, they get it once again with Williams. Williams is double teamed, try to forces it now to Olsen. Back to the top, straight away 3. This one off the mark, rebounded by Chandler Cleveland. Up to Ruvers. Ruvers quickly up to Casey Hansen, the 2-on-1. Bounce pass to Claire Doty. Doty gets it back, and now she tries to force a pass somewhere. A reach and foul called, and it will be against the Garretson Blue Dragons and Addison Fink, who picks up the foul. That is officially the first foul called on the Garretson Blue Dragons. We've seen a total of 2 fouls called so far. Again, the other one comes against Leah Herbster early into this first quarter. 1:45. Claire Doty to inbound, looking for someone. Just goes to Ruvers in the coffin corner. Rainbow pass to the near side to Claire Doty. Kicks it back to the top with Ruvers. Ruvers step back. Herbster back to Voss. Straight away 3 for her. This one not strong enough to fall through as it hit 2 sides of the iron and comes rattling off. Williams trying to get by Claire Doty. Again, double teamed as we've seen multiple times. The Garretson Blue Dragons just dribble themselves into the corner. Vermillion brings the double team, and they're stuck trying to get out of it. And for the Garretson Blue Dragons, they've also struggled just to get their offense going. You can think about it this way, 21 seconds into it, and they're still trying to set things up. They now work it over to the near side with Williams. She tried to force a pass underneath, and grabbing the basketball with her butt out of bounds, it's going to be a turnover as Addison Fink, the substitute, hasn't found her rhythm yet in the basketball game. 9-2, 1:05 first quarter. Ruvers has it across the timeline. Ruvers trying to get around 2 bodies. We'll go over to Leah Herbster in the corner. Back to the top with Claire Doty. Over to Voss. Voss down to Leah Herbster, wide open, but they go back to the top, over to the wing again, once again with Ruvers. 15 seconds on the shot clock. Ruvers tries to force a pass, takes a deflection, goes out of bounds. 46.5 remaining in the first quarter. 12 seconds on the shot clock. Claire Doty to inbound the basketball. Vermillion right now running a majority of their second team, or second platoon, if you will. They go deep to Ruvers. Ruvers trying to set something up with the offense. 8 seconds down the shot clock. Back over to Claire Doty. Down to Leah Herbster. She'll take the jumper once again. She is now 0 of 4 from the field. Leah Herbster has yet to find the bottom of the barrel tonight. 1.2 separates the shot clock from game clock, but they'll take it quickly. Three-pointer is good. This time it's Taylor Benson off the bench. First bench points for the Garretson Blue Dragons, and they draw it within 4, 9-5. Leah Herbster all the way over to Voss. Voss gets it down to Cleveland. Cleveland, turnaround jumper, good. And she's fouled. Chandler Cleveland going to attempt the old-fashioned three-point play. She's got 6 points, or averages, I should say, 6 points of all game, has 2 so far. And Janaea Cleveland going to come back in. Ruvers will check out. 11-5, 9.1 remaining here in this first quarter. Substitution complete, so both Cleveland girls on the court, along with Herbster, Doty, and Voss. Free throw is off the mark, fight for the rebound, goes out of bounds. They say it's off of Sydney Olsen, so Vermillion with 7.3 will have an inbound and the last second shot opportunity to try to bring this lead to more than 6. Cleveland goes deep to Doty. Back over to Chandler, to Voss with 3 seconds. To Claire Doty, she'll shoot the three just off the mark, and that is the end of the first quarter. Vermillion's offense by no means explodes, but at least they hold on to a sizable lead of 6. As we move to the second quarter, that comes up here in just a moment on Live Ticket TV.
Advertising can be a struggle. Where to spend your money? Are you reaching the right audience? If you are looking for an effective method that reaches a large fan base at once, then here is your spot with Live Ticket TV. With over 65 schools in the state of South Dakota, we can help you find the right market. Plus, you can work with me, Heath, and a portion of all sales made go right back to the school. Get a hold of me today and let's get started in helping build your brand with Live Ticket TV.
At Northern State University, your future starts with an affordable education that's personalized for you. Experience hands-on learning guided by world-class supportive faculty. You'll also enjoy a full campus life with opportunities to choose from numerous student activities and events, all in a safe, welcoming community. At Northern, you'll find a college that's right for you, a place to belong. Your future starts here. Unleash your potential at Northern.
11-5, Vermillion doesn't explode offensively with points, but Brooke Jensen outscores the Garretson Blue Dragons by herself. We'll see if Vermillion can't find more of their offense, as again, statistically so far this season, the first quarter is the worst when it comes to scoring, followed by the fourth quarter, then goes second, and the third quarter is Vermillion's best quarter when it comes to scoring. Another quick turnover. Garretson had 7 turnovers as well in that first quarter. So they'll be looking to see if they can't get that corrected here in this second quarter and find more of their offenses. Vermillion tries to force a pass by Casey Hansen inside, takes a few deflections, and the Blue Dragons come the opposite way. They go underneath the baseline, and again, stepping out of bounds, Holy Toledo. The third turnover now on the Garretson Blue Dragons. That's turnover number 8 of the ball game. The third time, though, they've turned it out by holding on to the basketball out of bounds right on the baseline. Not something you commonly see. Casey Hansen has in the front court for the Vermillion Tanagers to Voss. Voss back to Janaea Cleveland, inside to Jensen. Jensen draws a double team, back out to Voss, shoots the three. This one is off the mark. Trying to fight for the rebound. 2 Vermillion girls in there. Oh my goodness, oh my goodness, oh my goodness. You absolutely cannot call that a jump ball. You can nowhere near call that a jump ball, as no one even had clear tie-up of it. Casey Hansen was fighting with Janaea Cleveland for the ball back. Blue Dragons weren't even on the play. 9th turnover for the Blue Dragons.
Brooke Jensen tries to get one defender off of her. Guarding her closely that time was Altman. It's Hansen, drive to the baseline, lost the dribble for a moment, tried to force a pass, and now they're going to call a foul as she made the second attempt. It goes against Kylie Christensen, picking up her first personal in the third team foul of the ball game. 11-5, 6:45 second quarter. Quickly inbound to Jensen, catch and shoot this one. Bank not open as it just kind of skipped off to the left side. Blue Dragons able to break the press that Janaea Cleveland was applying. Almost a loss of the ball, and this time another jump ball. Oh my, oof. I give up. Second personal foul and second team foul, both belonging to Leah Herbster. 6:32 second quarter, 11-5. I'm just gonna put it down in my
I'm just chuckling because I know somebody who really likes it when you get off on these tangents. Dee, if you're out there listening, that one's for you.
Again, I'm not one to judge by any means refs. I mean, they have a tough job. But guys, just get consistent with the jump ball calls. Drive in. Jensen's shot was partially blocked away from behind, rebounded by the Blue Dragons, as Vermillion and the Blue Dragons, neither one have yet to find the bottom of the bucket here in this second quarter. It's in the lane. Olsen goes up with her shot. This one too strong. Ball is going to be saved. It goes through Casey Hansen. It looks like everyone ate popcorn before the game as no one can hold on to it. Try to force it along the baseline. Ball knocked out of bounds by Brooke Jensen, and it will stay with the Blue Dragons. By the way, they did get a fresh shot clock as well. It's wound 5 seconds down to 30, 5:54, second quarter. Again, neither team has scored. Vermillion still leads by 6, 11-5. Inbound, Cleveland steals away all the way up to Brooke Jensen. Jensen heard the footsteps that time of Altman, let her go by, and Brooke Jensen now has 8 points in the ball game. Again, outscoring the Garretson Blue Dragons by herself. It's an 8-point lead, which also matches the biggest lead for the Vermillion Tanagers. The Blue Dragons, again, averaging 54 points a ball game. Three-pointer off the mark. They've hit one shot from three-point land, have hit 2 free throws. Cleveland, a bad turnover. Cleveland going to play one-on-2 defense herself. They get it down underneath to Christensen, and Christensen able to score just the second bucket from the field for the Garretson Blue Dragons, and a timeout is called by head coach John Brooks. John Brooks uses his first of 2 30-second timeouts. 13-7 here in the second quarter. Cole, another struggle offensively for the Vermillion girls.
Yeah, well, you can say that, or there's just been a really good defensive game. As I used to tweet this, is it a offensive struggle or a defensive battle right now? I'm not exactly sure. You can kind of make your own judgment on that one, but you can look at Vermillion's offense and say, well, they're not playing very good, but then you look at Garretson. They scored 5 points in that first quarter. So, I mean, they're getting pretty lucky that Garretson's not getting hot, like you said. They're averaging, 54 a game, I think you mentioned a couple times. It's just a matter of time till one of these teams starts getting hot.
Vermillion has won their last 3 games by a combined 12 points, including 1-point victories over Elk Point Jefferson and Wagner in their past 2 games. Wagner, the 1-point victory, maybe no surprise. The surprise was against Elk Point Jefferson, but Vermillion has always had a tough time against the Huskies. Again, this is a good Garretson Blue Dragons team, a 6-3 overall, and impressive what they've been able to do inside Region 3 so far, where they are 3-1 and also 2-1 in the Big East. Turnover, drive off the glass, and good for 2. Jordan Williams has her first 2 points of the ball game, and it's back to just a 4-point lead. Quickly all the way up to Voss. She overran the hoop, had to come back, and is able to finish. Good repositioning by Brooklyn Voss as she has her first 2 points of the ball game. 15-9, as right now it's just back and forth. Pass, Rainbow, deflected away, goes into the student section, which the Garretson Blue Dragons have started to pile in more and more. By the way, Garretson is right there on that threshold of falling down into Class B when it comes to basketball. In fact, when you look at it numbers-wise, Garretson's actually the smallest Class A school. And again, they come in Region 3, which is a very difficult region to get out of. And now, jump ball finally called. Possession will give it to the Vermillion Tanagers. Region 3, we talk about the different regions when it comes to Class A. I think arguably the toughest one would be 4, and 3 would be right behind it, especially when you have West Central and Sioux Falls Christian, who have dominated it for so long. A pass high up to Leah Herbster. Collision there. Nothing called. Ball goes out of bounds. A couple substitutions, as it will be Fink and Benson who will come back into the ball game. It'll be Christensen and Olsen who take a spot on the bench. Vermillion continues to ride their starting 5 halfway into this second quarter. Up by 6, Vermillion, 15-9. In the backcourt, the Blue Dragons need to get across the timeline, and a forced pass will be another quick turnover. Turnover now number 11 of the ball game for the Garretson Blue Dragons. Again, Vermillion forces teams into an average of 22, and Garretson well on their way of getting above that. So far, Vermillion's season high for a team is 28 in a ball game. It's Cleveland who will pass it over to Casey Hansen. Now underneath to Leah Herbster. Herbster good for 2. And now the balanced spread out scoring, especially underneath, is starting to happen for Vermillion as Voss and Herbster have gotten the last 4 points. Another turnover. It's Jensen, bounce pass to Voss. She tried to get it to Hansen. Saved by Hansen, wants to get it to Jensen, but it's going to go instead to Fink. Fink dribbles her way into a double team, loses the basketball. Turnover number 13. My goodness. This is not a Garretson Blue Dragons team that struggles by any means, and right now Vermillion defensively is making them look like a team that you might think has 2-3 wins on the season. Claire Doty to Roovers as Vermillion has made that platoon change of the 3 girls. Jensen and Herbst, the 2 starters, remain out there right now for Vermillion. Roovers, the low bouncing pass, gets it back. Roovers wants to get it over to Cleveland, but quick turnover. Quickly, it's Altman. Altman wanted to give it back, and Doty steals it away. Turnover number 14. Jensen all the way up to Herbster. Herbster lost it for a moment to Cleveland. Cleveland wide open. Good for 2. Chandler Cleveland now has 4 points in the ball game. 19-9. Vermillion all of a sudden has opened this one up to double digits, their biggest lead of the ball game. And now just, what was that? And by the way, you can't do that either. That is technically traveling with the basketball if it's picked up by Williams. You can't just throw the ball down the court, run up to it yourself, and grab it again. I don't know if she was expecting that to go out of bounds. I don't know what that was.
I don't know. I'm kind of lost right now. Lost for words.
Inside to Leah Herbster. Herbster good for 2. And Vermillion has completely blown this one open as a foul is called. 4th team foul now on the Garretson Blue Dragons. The first foul that will go against Logan Belay. 21-9. Matt Schrank has to be shaking his head right now because he knows this isn't his team. Free throw is good for Leah Herbster. Leah Herbster continues her good streak here in this second quarter. She now has 5 points after just making 2 free throws against the Elk Point Jefferson Huskies. 22-9. Just 4 points for the Garretson Blue Dragons in this second quarter. Vermillion has doubled up what they scored in that first. Pass almost stolen away. Brooke Jensen winced there for a moment like she might have got her finger caught underneath. She continues to play. Missed wide open shot that time for Fink. They want to get all the way up to Doty. Stolen away, though, by Williams. Williams tries to force it quickly. Garretson Blue Dragons just running at a high tempo, a tempo they can't keep at the moment just because they don't have girls set in the right positions to run offense. Still Wilson, she's trying to do it herself, and finally a region foul that goes against the Vermillion Tanagers. It will be their 4th team foul, and the first that goes against Brooke Jensen. Casey Hansen and Brooklyn Voss will come back into the game, and we'll see the other 2 starters, Jensen and Herbster, take a spot on the bench. 101 seconds remaining here before halftime, 22-9. They go deep out to Olsen. Olsen, they want to go back over to Williams. Now over to the wing, drive by Altman, over to the near wing, 3-pointer. This one is good for Benson. Benson hits her second 3 of the ball game. No, they're going to say her foot was on the line. Correction. just a 2-pointer, but again, able to show her range off the bench. She averages 5 points, and she has all of it right now. Another quick turnover by both teams. Vermillion gave it to Garretson, and Garretson gives it right back up. Turnover number 15 now of this first half. 22-11, 1:13 remaining in this first half. Vermillion up by 11. Claire Doty with it on the far wing. Bouncing pass inside to Cleveland, back out to Ruvers. Now to Casey Hansen, pass, tip, Cleveland came down with it. Her shot can't finish. Olsen in the front court for the Blue Dragons. Drives, took some body contact, no foul called. Ball goes out of bounds. Garretson basketball underneath the hoop. 22-11, 48 seconds remaining before halftime. The Garretson Blue Dragons just trying to find some type of offense. They force it right inside, and another turnover. Turnover number 16, all the way up to Voss. Voss takes her time and easily off the glass. That doesn't get any easier than Brooklyn Voss eating Doritos at home. 33 seconds remaining before halftime. Blue Dragons just want to get something going. Another turnover. Ruvers easily all alone off the glass, good for 2. Blowing it open here in the second quarter. Vermillion, just like they should be, the ranked number 2 team, taking care of business, now up by 15. Over to the corner, 3-pointer. Whoa, that missed everything. Vermillion still has a chance. Claire Doty up to Casey Hansen with 3 seconds. Down to Cleveland. Ball is deflected out of bounds. And with .6, Vermillion will have a catch-and-shoot opportunity. Mistake there by Hansen. Just had to go up with the shot. But the pass will want to go to Brooke Jensen here. 26-11, .6. Again, it'll be a catch-and-shoot opportunity, and it has to be immediate. Hansen will inbound the basketball. She receives it from the ref. They're going to go to deep to Jensen. Again, never an opportunity for her, but Vermillion is able to put up 15 points in that second quarter and lead it 26-11, allowing Garretson to just get 6 points in the second quarter. Vermillion led in the way with Brooke Jensen of 8 points, and then the big girls underneath of Leah Herbster and Brooklyn Voss combined for a total of 9 points in that second quarter. When looking spread once again by the Vermillion Tanagers, 6 different girls score in the first half. 26-11 as we head to halftime. First half statistics coming up here in just a moment on Live Ticket TV. There's no better organization that gives back to the student athletes than the Booster Club. The Vermillion Booster Club is committed to helping all student athletes grow. Join the Tanager faithful today by becoming a member at GoTanagers.com. While you're there, check out team apparel for your favorite sports team. Like them on Facebook to stay up to date on all the latest information and sports games. Join the Vermillion Boosters today and go Tanagers.
Agriculture is like no other business, which makes Farm Credit Services of America like no other lender. Owned by the farmers and ranchers we serve, our customers have a voice in how we work, a stake in what we do, and share in our success. Discover a lender that works for you at Farm Credit Services of America.
Hi, this is Kristen Cunningham with Chic Boutique by Kristen & Company in Centerville, South Dakota. We're an all-size inclusive boutique offering sizes small through 3X on many items, including denim jeans and jackets, shackets, pants, skirts, graphic tees and sweatshirts, joggers, school swag, hats and caps, many fashion accessories including purses and lots of jewelry. And we also offer gift items for birthdays and weddings. Get your shopping fix at 636 Broadway Street, Centerville, South Dakota, open Tuesday through Friday 10 to 7 and Saturday 10 to 4.
Let's be real. You work, you worry, you wait, you wonder. These are the challenges of life on the farm. As a community bank, First Bank and Trust understands this rural reality. We're big enough to help ag producers grow for the future and small enough to get to know you right now. Our ag bankers have ag backgrounds, which means we'll help you work through the tough years and make the most of the great ones. First Bank and Trust. Real banking, real easy. Member FDIC, Equal Opportunity Lender.
Live Ticket TV, your new home for everything Vermillion sports, including coming up tomorrow. We continue on our broadcast as the DAC 12 wrestling tournament taking place in Dakota Valley. We will have full coverage of all 10 teams participating in that tournament coming up tomorrow. Again, you can catch all the action here on Live Ticket TV. Of course, Live Ticket TV is now your new home for everything Vermillion, not just a certain few different sports, but now expanding out as we've had plenty of wrestling so far this winter season. Of course, basketball, and then coming up during the spring season, softball and track that will be on the docket. And then we'll get you into some baseball along with Legion baseball. And before you know it, you take a 2-week break, and just like that, the soccer season and football season upon us once again. Right now, though, the Vermillion girls enjoying a nice, comfortable lead. A little bit weird to say for the Vermillion girls here in the past few games, as they currently lead it by 15, 26-11 here at halftime. Taking a look at the scoring, Brooke Jensen is leading the way. Again, averaging 18 points a ball game. She already has 8 there in the first half. Otherwise, very, very balanced the rest of the way. Leah Herbster has 5 points, all coming in the second quarter. 4 points apiece for Chandler Cleveland and Brooklyn Voss. 3 points for Casey Hansen, who hit a three-pointer in the first quarter, and also 2 points for Taylor Ruvers. Claire Doty is the only one, along with Janaea Cleveland, not to score there in the first half. On the opposite side for the Garretson Blue Dragons, they are led by a bench player. Taylor Benson has 5 points off the bench. Otherwise, 2 points apiece for Jordan Williams, along with Kylie Christensen and Regan Altman. Sydney Olson, who averages 10 points a ball game, has yet to score for the Garretson Blue Dragons. The size underneath of Logan Bly for the Blue Dragons has yet to score either. And again, Garretson only putting up 11 points, averaging just over 50 points a ball game, 6-3 overall, including 3-1 here in Region 3, 2-1 in the Big East. This is a very good Garretson team. They are looking to make some noise when it comes to this Region 3 once it comes to playoff time. But right now, they have certainly had their struggles against number 2, the Vermillion Tanagers, once again at halftime, 26-11. So we join with Cole Large. Cole, let's jump back into a quick conversation. As we mentioned, Live Ticket TV, your new home for all things Vermillion athletics, including wrestling tomorrow. What are we expecting to see in some DAC 12 wrestling?
A whole lot of wrestling. It's going to be a busy day. It should be quite a few exciting matchups. I know there's a couple weight classes where the DAC 12 have multiple wrestlers in the top 8. You know, you can look at all those standings on DakotaGrappler.com. You can also follow along on Track Wrestling if you want to keep track of scores. We'll have all that on our stream and yada, yada, yada. But there should be quite a few brackets that are going to be very competitive. You know, you always look at Canton comes in. They're usually always the dominant wrestling squad in Class B. Much the controversy of the rest of the wrestling fans in Class B, but you just got to face facts. Canton's really good, and they're going to keep playing, and they're going to have probably almost all the top wrestlers in the DAC 12, if I had to guess, coming out of every weight class. But it's going to be interesting to see how many teams can compete and put up some other good wrestlers in all those weight classes. And on the girls' side of things, Canton's looking really good too.
Yep, I say we will have both boys and girls coming up tomorrow. They'll be running 4 different mats. We'll cover as many of those games as we can with a little bit more of a emphasis and focus, especially on Canton, as the Canton stream will be helping us out coming up tomorrow. And of course, that focus as well on the Vermillion Tanagers, and the coach Gary Culver sitting back at home enjoying a night off. It seems like it's been a weird year for Coach Culver in his wrestling squad as well. A lot of weather postponements and makeups that have just kind of just really made this schedule messy. Of course, when it comes to wrestling, they wrap up their season maybe a little bit earlier than what you're used to if you follow along with basketball. Wrap it up kind of towards the end of February, whereas you get to the boys basketball side of things, they end up more towards the end of March there. So they're in fact getting closer to the end of their season. I believe at one point this DAC 12 conference was supposed to be maybe one of the last meets before the state tournament, but again, so many different things have been postponed due to weather. Speaking of the weather, let's talk more about that, because if you haven't been paying attention, there's plenty of different schedule changes that have happened. We go back to last night due to the snowstorm. There was no game. Weird situation. It's been this way for quite some time, where we have two different games for Sioux Falls Christian. Boys and girls play on different nights. That has changed. The girls were set to play Sioux Falls Christian on February 2nd. That boys game has been turned into a doubleheader. So boys will be making up their game against Sioux Falls Christian coming up for their doubleheader. And then also Vermillion was supposed to participate in a tournament against Boys Town out of the state of Nebraska. That, of course, was canceled. Vermillion has found a makeup game that is against Pine Ridge, and that will be coming up on Monday inside the Birdcage. We will have all the action for you as well. So, again, the boys' schedule a little bit messed up here over the next couple of weeks, but certainly getting it solved. And again, we'll have all the coverage. Cole, the third quarter has been dominant for the Vermillion girls. Just see them get some shots up here in this third quarter and try to take advantage a little bit more of the press and win. Garretson hands them turnovers.
Yeah, I think so. And we kind of saw that towards the end of that second quarter. They're kind of taking advantage of that press, getting down faster than Garretson was and getting all these open shots. I know Garretson in the locker room right now, they're taking the full time because they want to fix this press, and also they want to fix offensively. 11 points from a team that averages what you said it about 17 times. I keep forgetting. 52. All right, I would have said 54. I was close, but it's just this is so unlike Garretson what we've seen so far. So Vermillion has to almost be prepared for a completely different team coming out of the locker room in the second half, because if you let Garretson get hot, they're going to score a lot of points really fast.
Yeah, just over 50 points they averaged. But again, the big takeaway from that first half for the Garretson Blue Dragons, 17 turnovers in the ball game. It's something that's so uncharacteristic of the Garretson Blue Dragons. Don't forget as well, Tanager fans, we have all of our interviews, coaches' conversations, player interviews. Those have been up for some time. You can check them out as well on 605sports.com. So no need to wait for other ones to get up. We have them always up there at 605 Sports. And again, you can check them out today. Coaches' conversations as well, including other coaches from around the region, as now 70-plus schools using the live ticket TV family. Looking forward to a couple weeks. Get to work with the Beersford Watchdogs once again. Turnover number 18. How about we begin the third quarter as Garretson, just a simple bounce pass. Vermillion read it perfectly, applying the press as it's high right now. Vermillion also playing it high offensively, and then Brooke Jensen just gives it right back. Seems like maybe neither team just kind of has woken up into this game yet. Missed shot that time for Williams. Vermillion forces it up to Casey Hansen. Brooke Jensen gets it back. Casey Hansen wasn't paying attention there for a moment. Janaea Cleveland over to Brooklyn Voss. Back out to Jensen to Casey Hansen. To Brooke Jensen. Jensen, the catch and shoot three. This one just off the mark. Offensive rebound. Back out. Now to Cleveland to Casey Hansen. She'll shoot the three. This one left short. And finally rebounded by the Garretson Blue Dragons. Not for sure what's off with Jensen shooting from three tonight. She was drinking the Blue Raspberry Ghost Energy drink as she went into the locker room tonight, which is the best flavor if you ask me. Got the Blue Raspberry, then you got the Sour Patch Red, what did that get, like Red Berry, Swedish Gummy Worm is not too bad, or Swedish Gummy Fish, whatever they call those things nowadays.
Swedish Fish?
Is that what they're just called, the Swedish Fish?
Yeah, they're really good.
And the energy drink's not as good from Ghost. Jumper from Jensen. Well, this one off the mark.
Energy drinks in general just aren't good.
Oh, that's a crazy thing to say there, Cole. And another turnover. Number 19 of the ball game over to Brooklyn Voss. And Vermillion's going to give it right back, as neither team yet to find a rhythm here in this third quarter. And another turnover. 20 Again, Vermillion forces teams into an average of 22 turnovers a ball game. The Garretson Blue Dragons currently at 20, so they're going to get well above the record Vermillion holds right now, forcing a team into turnovers, 28. Catch and shoot three for Cleveland. This one is off the mark. The three-point shooting continues to struggle, and a rebounding foul that will go against Brooke Jensen, her second personal and the first team foul. 26-11, 6:15, third quarter. Neither team has yet to score. The press on by the Vermillion Tanagers, the Garretson Blue Dragons, Olsen. Now get it over to Logan Belay. Back over to the wing across the timeline. Quick three-pointer. This one off the mark. And fight for the rebound. Jump ball called. It will stay with the Garretson Blue Dragons. 26-11, 6:02, third quarter. Vermillion right now is shooting just 14% from the three-point line, as that has also been a struggle this evening. Olsen, foot on the line. Yikes. Ball goes out of bounds. Somehow Garretson comes up with it. That is the third air ball of the ball game as well for the Garretson Blue Dragons. Again, we talk about two teams that, at this point, never came out of the halftime locker room, it seems like. Drive, underhand shot. Olsen somehow comes up with it, goes back up. She misses her attempt. Vermillion with the rebound. It's now Janaea Cleveland, and a foul that will go against Altman, as she wasn't allowing Cleveland to make her move. Altman picks up her first personal, first team foul on the Garretson Blue Dragons. Cleveland will inbound it to Voss. Back to Janaea Cleveland. Cleveland to Voss. Voss underneath to Leah Herbster. Herbster tries to go for a shot. She's fouled and will shoot 2 free throws. It is the second team foul and also the second against Kylie Christian. 26-11, 5:34 third quarter. With Leah Herbster 5 points in the ball game, give her 6, where she is a perfect 2 of 2 so far from the free throw line. Again, the leading scorer for the Vermillion Tanagers is Brooke Jensen with 8 points. And Leah Herbster right behind her now with still 6 points as she misses the second free throw. Vermillion with their biggest lead of 16, the only point so far we have seen of this third quarter. Ball took a deflection by Janaea Cleveland as she fights for it back now, 21. Cole Larson, I'm just going to start having you count them out for me. Quickly up to Janaea Cleveland, down to Leah Herbster. Herbster leaves her shot just short. Again, Vermillion this size advantage, but still hasn't necessarily been able to take advantage of it. Saw more fast break points than anything. Three-pointer, this one off the mark for Logan Belay, rebounded by Voss, and Voss threw it to absolutely nobody, and quickly back up with a shot. Foul called on Brooke Jensen. Jensen will now pick up her third personal, and she's going to have to take a spot on the bench. The second team foul, and again, 2 free throws upcoming for Regan Altman. As the Garretson Blue Dragons try to find their first points of this third quarter. Not quite to the halfway mark, and the first free throw is off the mark. Regan Altman right now at the free throw line. She has gone now 2 of 3 as she got her first 2 points there in the first quarter. Second free throw, this one is good, so give her 3 in the ball game, all coming from the charity stripe. 27-12, 4:50 third quarter. Jensen gets it up to Voss, back to Jensen. Jensen underhand toss to Janaea Cleveland. Cleveland into Jensen. Now working over to Casey Hansen. Back to the top with Brooklyn Voss. Back to Jensen. She'll shoot the 3. There you go. The Blue Raspberry Ghost has hit. Brooke Jensen hits double digits for the evening with 11 points. 30-12. Maybe I should get some of that Ghost Blue Raspberry. Quick turnover, 22 of the ball game. Casey Hansen misses the easy bucket. 22 turnovers now for the Garretson Blue Dragons, which now is the average, and a quick foul.
You told me to count, I'm counting them.
All right.
Again, 22, nothing. This is nothing compared to how high I've seen.
30-12, 4:14, third quarter. By the way, Garretson Blue Dragon boys coming up next against the Vermillion Tanagers. Garretson looking for their first win of the season. The Blue Dragons have had a tough go so far this season. Bounce pass to Benson. This one off the mark. And again, just a free throw, and then a quick foul given up by the Garretson Blue Dragons and Altman as she picks up now her second personal, third team foul. Or excuse me, they're actually going to call that foul instead. Nope, I did have it right on Altman picking up her second. Inbound from Casey Hansen to Claire Doty. 30-12, an 18-point lead for the Vermillion Tanagers. This big of a lead do we expect? No. Do we expect this sloppy of a game? No. Casey Hansen down underneath to Leah Herbster, wide open. And again, Vermillion able to take advantage of the size. 8 points now for Leah Herbster after she just hit 2 free throws Tuesday evening against Elk Point Jefferson. A 20-point lead for the Vermillion Tanagers. I'm not for sure what's more shocking, the 22 turnovers or just the 12 points. 32-12, another foul against the Vermillion Tanagers. The Tanagers now pick up their fourth team foul. It'll be the first one that will go against Chandler Cleveland. Over in the corner, Casey Hansen guarding closely. By the way, Brooke Jensen is currently on the bench with 3 fouls herself. What are we at, Cole?
23.
Claire Doty will inbound the basketball right in front of the scorer's table. 32-12, 3:15, third quarter. Underneath to Cleveland, she lost it, able to save it though. Leah Herbster goes up with a shot. Nice job by Leah. She was hustled and hassled there, but knew to go right up with the shot, and she will shoot free throws once again, where she is so far this evening 2 of 3. First free throw for Leah Herbster, up, and this one left short. Vermillion a 20-point lead, 32-12, 3:10, third quarter. Second free throw for Leah Herbster as she tries to get to 9 points on the evening. Free throw is up, and this one is off the mark as well. Cleveland fights for it back, and a jump ball, and it will be Vermillion basketball. So after 2 free throws that were missed by Leah Herbster, Vermillion will retain possession. Along the baseline, Casey Hansen to inbound. 3:07. Go deep to Roovers, who was wide open. Roovers back over to Casey Hansen. Hansen to Claire Doty. Doty will shoot the 3. This one off the mark. Leah Herbster can't quite corral it in. Goes out of bounds, and it will be a turnover. And now a timeout. Got turnover on my brain. Timeout from Matt Schrank. 32-12. We're back in 30 seconds here on Live Ticket TV.
In times like these, it's good to know there's a place where people know who you are, no matter how long you've been gone. A place where the smells of home cooking are still in the air, where a simple wave warms your heart, and sharing stories is just a way of life. It's good to be home. Agraria Insurance Company, protecting what's important in life. Contact your local Agraria Insurance Company agent.
Limestone.
Vermillion boys trying to get back inside the win column. That game comes up after the conclusion of this one, as we're certainly ahead of schedule. This one on the docket to start at 6:30 this evening. Got started right around 6:12 or so. Again, just moving along. By the way, no C games here in Garretson, South Dakota, due to, again, the fact that Garretson, the smallest Class A team when it comes to the basketball size, just right there on that threshold of falling down into Class B. We'll talk as well where they find themselves on the boys' side of things. Of Garretson just falls in a bad location that sees some good talent. It doesn't always stay here in Garretson. That's coming up in our pregame show. Stick around for that. But right now we're in girls action where Vermillion leads it by 20. Garretson scores just 12 points so far in the ball game, including a free throw in this third quarter. Pass inside, jumper. This one is no good. Rebound, back up, foul, and one. As finally, from the field, Addison Fink is able to get the first bucket of this second half, and will attempt the old-fashioned three-point play. The foul comes against Leah Herbster, which is also her third personal, so Brooke Jensen and Leah Herbster both have 3 personal fouls. We have a free throw violation as Fink's foot goes across the line, they call it. So it will be Vermillion basketball. Free throw was missed anyways, so doesn't really matter a whole lot. 32-14, 2:20, third quarter. Cleveland, Chandler that is, has it. Pass to Doty, deflected, and fight for it. They say over and back. Oh, I don't know how that can be an over and back if you have a deflection there by Jordan Williams. Cole Larsh, give me the answer. All right, thank you, Cole.
I plead the fifth.
32-14, 2:08, third quarter. Garretson again has hit a free throw and a shot from the field. 3 points so far. Double team over on that far side, just throwing it off of Leah Herbster. That time was Benson, the sophomore guard, trying to get her team into it. Benson will inbound it to Olsen. Again, she averages 10 points a ball game, has yet to score this evening. The drive and a foul that will go against Leah Herbster as she fell down but also made contact with Altman. So Leah Herbster will now pick up her 4th personal and the 6th team foul. Leah Herbster is going to have to come out of the ball game, and she'll do exactly that. As Voss checks back in, Janaea Cleveland checks back in. Casey Hansen also will come out of the ball game along with Leah Herbster. 32-14, 1:53 remaining in this third. Garretson, bounce pass. Now over to the corner. Drive in, jumper, this one off the mark. That time for Williams. Fight for the rebound. Garretson comes away with it. And work it back underneath into the lane. Up with a shot. Olsen, contact, and a foul finally called. That will go against the Garretson Blue Dragons as they now pick up their 4th team foul. The foul will also called against Addison Fink, which will be her 2nd personal. 32-14, 90 seconds remaining in this third quarter. Vermillion putting up one of their worst offensive performance, scoring-wise, that is, here tonight against the Garretson Blue Dragons. Shot up by Voss. She can't finish it off, but she's fouled and will head to the free throw line to shoot 2. The 6th team foul, and it's now quickly the 3rd on Addison Fink. She will come out of the ball game and make way for Logan Bly, who will check back in just a moment. First free throw is good for Voss. Brooklyn Voss now 5 points in the ball game. As I mentioned, Bly back in, and Fink is out. 33-14, 1:18, third quarter. Vermillion leaving no doubt they're definitely going to move to 12-0. Ooh, free throw. Never going to count anyways. Missed, but again, another lane violation, this time on Doty as she stepped across before the free throw was even attempted. 33-14, 1:12, third quarter, and now another turnover. Cole, 24. 33-14, 1:12, third quarter. Again, that's, I guess, unofficial too, as we're not keeping. Sometimes we miss things every once in a while, so I should say that number unofficial.
I'd say it's quite official.
Pass deflected out of bounds. Vermillion will keep it along the baseline. Janaea Cleveland to inbound.
The only thing unofficial in your stat book is usually the fouls, because somehow you can never keep track of those.
Wow, that was aggressive.
I'm not wrong.
Cleveland turnaround with the hook. This one good. Chandler Cleveland, 6 points in the ball game. 35-14, up to a 21-point lead, which is now the biggest for the Vermillion Tanagers. Across the timeline and picked back up by the Garretson Blue Dragons as they almost had another turnover. Bly want to get it down to Olsen, deflected away. And given right back by the Vermillion Tanagers. Missed the shot, though, is Williams, who, again, averages 11 points a ball game. She has just 2 so far here tonight. Janaea Cleveland with .6 that separates the shot clock from game clock. Ruvers back over to Janaea Cleveland. Vermillion can virtually hold for the last second shot. That's what they're going to do as Ruvers brings it back out, setting up the offense. Ruvers takes a look, Now with 9 seconds, Ruvers will make her move in the lane, try to go up with a shot. She wanted to be fouled, got nothing called, and the ball will go out of bounds, and Garretson with 4.8 will have one last opportunity to bring it back under 20 or less. They trail currently by 21. It's up. Williams, the jumper before the buzzer, off the mark. Jordan Williams can't hit. Vermillion leads it by 21, 35-14. We head to the fourth quarter. That comes up here in just a moment on Live Ticket TV.
Canyons, flowing waterfalls, and pristine beauty make Spearfish a sanctuary for those seeking the ultimate escape. Outdoor enthusiasts will find top-notch sport climbing, mountain biking, and UTV OHV trails. Guests are steps away from peaceful hiking trails and tranquil streams. Relax and rehash your day's adventure at one of our award-winning local breweries. Finding rest is an important part of any adventure. Lodging in Spearfish comes with a variety of choices, from cabins, B&Bs, and campgrounds to the comforts of your popular brand-name hotels. To find your unique adventure in Spearfish, go to visitspearfish.com now.
If you are self-motivated, accountable, and eager to learn new skills, we'd love to talk to you about a rock star career. Masaba in Vermillion is hiring full and part-time manufacturing positions for the rock industry. Masaba provides comprehensive training in a clean, safe, and state-of-the-art facility. Masaba offers competitive wages, a fun and interesting work environment and culture. Join our team of rock stars. Visit masabainc.com to learn more.
The Garretson Blue Dragons to inbound the basketball, trailing by 21, 35-14 right now. As we enter the fourth quarter for the Garretson Blue Dragons, just trying to find some type of offense as driving in. Foul called quickly. It's now the 7th team foul on the Vermillion Tanagers, which will mean bonus the rest of the way. That foul also comes against Brooklyn Voss, which will be her first. Vermillion back out there with their starting 5, including a couple of girls that are in foul trouble with Leah Herbster and Brooke Jensen out there. 35-14, missed free throw by the way. The Garretson Blue Dragons just scored 3 points there in the third quarter. I guess you could say matches what the quarter number was. Free throw number 2, that one is good, as that was the first point for Sydney Olsen in the ball game. Again, she averages 10, one of 2 Garretson Blue Dragons that average double digits. Janaea Cleveland inside, Casey Hansen wide open, and she misses. Quick turnover. Casey Hansen gets it back, missed shot, but she's fouled, and she will head to the free throw line. Not ragging on Casey by any means. She's showing it immediately on her face. She knows she should have made that bucket. And it will be the second personal foul on Bly, 7th team foul. So bonus the rest of the way as well for the Vermillion Tanagers. All they're going to do is add to their lead. Vermillion, with Casey Hansen at the free throw line, leads it by 21 once again. Hansen able to hit both free throws. She has 5 points in the ball game. 37-15, 7:25, fourth quarter. Olsen just holding it right in the corner, gives it up right to Casey Hansen, and Hansen this time able to finish. Bounces back nicely. Casey Hansen now with 7 points in the ball game. 39-15. A 24-point lead is the biggest lead we have seen here. And now another turnover as the Blue Dragons just throw it away. Cole Large is trying to keep the turnover number. Jensen with the jumper, count the bucket, and one. Brooke Jensen scores in all quarters tonight. She now has 13 points in the ball game. And another substitution, as it will be Altman who will come back in. Williams will come out as she picks up her 3rd personal and also the 8th team foul. Again, the old-fashioned three-point play for Jensen is up and good. Brooke Jensen with 14 points, 42-15. Cole, never in a million years would have imagined we could get to a running clock here in this game.
No, we kind of talked about it before the game started, or even.
Don't mark that down. Don't forget your turnover.
Oh, well, see, now you got me all distracted. And we kind of talked about this last game in the post game. We were like, you know, Garrettson's lost a couple times. But they lost against some really good competition, and we'd expect this game to be close and competitive. And like you said, never in a million years. I mean, with 29 turnovers, you're not going to get a whole lot of offense in.
3 from Herbster. This one is off the mark. Rebounded by Logan Bly. 42-15. Herbster would have made that. We would have hit that running clock rule. 6:14 remaining here in the ball game. Nonetheless, one thing is certain: Vermillion is going to move to 12-0 on the season. This counts nothing for the region. This counts nothing for the DAC 12. You can certainly compare, though, a Garretson Blue Dragons team to a DAC 12 opponent. Play a lot of them throughout their season. Missed shot, put back, good, and a foul. Kylie Christensen, 4 points for her in the ball game. Vermillion commits their 8th team foul, and the foul as well. That will be against against Voss, picking up her 2nd personal. So 42-17, free throw is up, and this one is good for Christensen, as she now has 5 points in the ball game. Hansen is going to trip, trying to get by the defender. They say it did go off of Altman, so it will stay with Vermillion. 42-18, 5:56 fourth quarter. Vermillion certainly hasn't called off the Dogs yet, bringing in some of their 2nd team, and now a foul as Casey Hansen trying to get around Altman. Both of them just kind of fall over. Bonus opportunity on a 1-1 upcoming for Casey Hansen, and Hansen doesn't look happy either. A little bit of chippiness that's going on. Altman will pick up her 3rd personal as well. So next foul will give double bonus to the Vermillion Tanagers, but right now Casey Hansen just a 1-1. Free throw up, and this one is good. Casey Hansen will get 2nd opportunity. Now has 8 points here in the ball game. Trying to get to double figures. Only 1 so far for the Vermillion Tanagers that's been able to do that. Missed free throw, offensive rebound. Janaea Cleveland, though, can't sink it. 43-18, 5:45, fourth quarter. Garretson Blue Dragons to the top with Bly. Over to the wing now as they get it with Benson. Benson back to Olsen. Bounce pass inside to Christensen. Back out to Altman. Altman able to pump fake a little bit. Also picked up the foul that will go against Leah Herbster. And with that, Leah Herbster will foul out of the ball game. Leah Herbster will finish with 8 points this evening. Good 2nd and 3rd quarter from Leah Herbster. She put up 5 points in that 2nd to really help the Tanagers separate, and again was able to add 3 more in the 3rd. Again, finishing with 8 points in the ball game. She was one that we were watching. Could have gotten close to hitting double digits on the evening, not able to do so. 43-18. By the way, the 1-1 is off the mark. Rebounded by Voss. Both teams have 9 team fouls, so both fouls for either team, I should say, will give double bonus. Cleveland, we're at the 5:17 mark, so certainly could happen. It's with Jensen. Jensen wants to get underneath to Casey Hansen. A high pass knocked away by Altman and will go out of bounds. Again, Vermillion has not brought, or I should say shown much of their 2nd team yet, taking off their undershirts, still have those on. The warm-ups in all black. Casey Hansen has it stolen away from her. Blue Dragons will move into the front court. It's controlled with Altman. Altman to the corner now with Williams. Williams underneath, wide open is Christensen off the glass. Kylie Christensen, who averages 6 points a ball game, now has 7 for the Garretson Blue Dragons. A little too late, though, trailing by 23. Casey Hansen motions to Janaea Cleveland. Now back to Brooklyn Voss. Down to Casey Hansen. Hansen backing her way in over to wide open Jensen. This one too strong. It's a hit off the left of the iron. Rebounded by the Blue Dragons. Into the front court goes Benson. Want to go underneath now to Williams. Williams back out to Benson. Benson goes to the elbow. Picks up the dribble. Bounce back to Christensen. Over to the corner. Three-pointer. This one is off the mark. Rebounded by Hansen. Quickly up by Janaea Cleveland. Bounce pass to Chandler. Back to Casey inside to Jensen. Jensen gets by her defender and is fouled. Logan Bly can't believe it as Logan's pleading her case, didn't touch anyone. And it will be 2 free throws upcoming for Brooke Jensen. 43-20, 23-point lead for the Vermillion Tanagers. First free throw is good, and with that, Brooke Jensen now with 15 points here in the ball game. And Casey Hansen, Janaea Cleveland will come out of the ball game, which means that will be their night's over with. Janaea doesn't score this evening. Casey Hansen will finish with 8, and now Brooke Jensen hits the free throw, and she will finish with 16. Just 2 points off of her season average. As we see a couple other substitutions check in. Claire Doty, Roovers, Barda, Chandler Cleveland, and it will be Voss all on the court. Pass and then a quick timeout called by Coach Schrenk. We'll step aside. We're back in just 30 seconds here on Live Ticket TV.
At Northern State University, your future starts with an affordable education that's personalized for you. Experience hands-on learning guided by world-class supportive faculty. You'll also enjoy a full campus life with opportunities to choose from numerous student activities and events, all in a safe, welcoming community. At Northern, you'll find a college that's right for you, a place to belong. Your future starts here. Unleash your potential at Northern.
25-point lead, certainly enough to jump around if you're the Vermillion girls, as unofficially 12-0 on the season. Vermillion continues their hot run. Vermillion as well doesn't get any easier as they're going to be finally back home coming up next Thursday against Del Rapids before they take on Laverne, Minnesota. And a classic coming up next Saturday. We will have coverage, by the way, next Saturday of both the boys and the girls. The boys in the DAC-12 NEC Clash, and then the Vermillion girls in the Classic. That'll be happening at Augustana University. Inbound, and finally, Sydney Olsen gets her first bucket from the field. She now has 3 points in the ball game. 45-22, 3:40 fourth quarter. Voss the drive, the kick out to Cleveland. Cleveland the drive. Cleveland can't finish, but she is fouled and will shoot 2 free throws. Well, we're beyond 10 fouls for the Garretson Blue Dragons here. Again, it was a shooting foul, so it doesn't matter anyways. And also, fouling out of the ball game will be Addison Fink. Fink will finish with 2 points here on the evening. 45-22, 3:35 fourth quarter. Cleveland free throw. This one is left short. Rushes the hair out of her way. Again, Vermillion right now. Doty, Chandler Cleveland, Voss, Barda, and Roovers all on the court. Second free throw. This one is also off the mark. Rebounded by Jordan DeWitt. As now we see Garretson has to go one deeper into their bench than usual, with DeWitt not getting a whole lot of playing time, but with Fink fouled out of the ball game, she's getting some time. Olsen will shoot the three. Good! Sydney Olsen all of a sudden starting to light up here in this fourth quarter. A little too late, though, for her. 6 points in the ball game. Blue Dragons still trail by 20. Cleveland to the free throw line. Back out to Voss. Voss down to the block. Fade away. Not going to fall through for her. And Blue Dragons quickly push tempo the opposite direction as they work it with Olsen. Directing traffic. Now get it to DeWitt. DeWitt picks up her dribble. Bounce pass inside to Christensen. Christensen goes up. Can't get the go. Rebounded by the Vermillion Tanagers. Cole, that certainly has been a theme for Garretson as well. It just has not been able to ever get comfortable with making shots tonight.
Nope, they have not had a great offensive night.
45-25, 2:22, fourth quarter. As trying to get around the defender, Benson picks up her dribble. Olsen drives. Shot's going to be deflected away there by Claire Doty. Here comes Brooklyn Voss. Voss wants to get down to Barda. Barda's double team, kicks back out. Wants the assist instead, and will get it.
Claire Doty, her first points of the evening. And Vermillion now has 7 different scores here in the ball game. 47-25, 152 fourth quarter. Handoff to Olsen, and both teams are conceding and bringing on the JV squads. Voss quickly down to Roovers. Roovers off the glass and good for 2. Roovers will finish the ball game as she will also come out with 4 points. Other scores, Brooklyn Voss will finish with 5. Claire Doty will come out of the ball game. She will finish with 2. As I mentioned earlier, Chandler Cleveland, she finishes with 6 points in the ball game. Vermillion Tanagers, 7 different scores. Unless someone on the JV team can score as well, then it would be 8. But they have another quick turnover. So we're unofficially at 32 turnovers. Now make it 33. 49, 25, 119, fourth quarter. Vermillion JV hasn't scored a whole lot of points when they've gotten their opportunity with the varsity time. We'll love to see that change as it's with Halverson. Try to force something underneath, deflected out of bounds, and will stay with the Vermillion girls along the baseline as it will be Barta to inbound. She slaps the ball. Looking. They're going to go deep out to Baylor. Baylor back over to Halverson. So now get to Richardson underneath. No space there. Just turn around. Jumper good. This one is good for Wallen as she has 2 points on the evening. Vermillion now 8 different scores on the night. 51-25. Again, Vermillion is going to move to 12-0 on their season. Jumper for Benson. This one is off the mark, but it's going to be an offensive rebound. Drive, Dragons. Nothing doing there for Benson. Forces it over to the near side. Back to the top. DeWitt straight away 3. This one misses everything. Will go out of bounds. And Vermillion can hold the ball and run out the clock. The Vermillion Tanagers with 8 different scores tonight. Again, will move to 12-0 overall. Will remain 4-0 inside Region 4. And will remain 7-0 in the DAC 12. By the way, if all things hold for the Vermillion Tanagers, and let's say they do, they have a chance at winning a share of the DAC 12 title coming up on February 2nd against the Sioux Falls Christian Chargers. They could win it outright later on in the season. 51-25 is your final as the Vermillion girls move to 12-0 on the season. Garretson Blue Dragons, they drop to 6-4 overall. We're going to step aside. Once again, Brooke Jensen leads the way with 16 points on the evening. Garretson Blue Dragons, 33 turnovers as a team. The boys pregame show comes up next here on Live Ticket TV.
The innocence of youth. Is there anything any better? But soon they'll be in high school and facing all the same challenges you faced. How to make friends, how to fit in, how to be cool. We want our children to have everything they'll need to live fulfilling and productive lives. Make sure the kids in your family are among the more than 57,000 participants here in South Dakota who take part in high school sports or activities.
Farmers know crop insurance is essential for managing risk. It's also valuable for maximizing revenue. The crop insurance officers at Farm Credit Services of America have proprietary tools and expertise to deliver the personalized crop and revenue protection you need for the peace of mind you want. Nobody delivers crop insurance like this. Discover the difference by calling 800-884-FARM. Agriculture works here.
Birds.
Time to continue on here with our next pregame show on Live Ticket TV with our doubleheader between the Vermillion Tanagers and the Garretson Blue Dragons. Let's get into our coaches' conversations here on Live Ticket TV. We'll catch up with Vermillion head coach Jay Drake in just a moment, but first up, it's Coach Tad Heitkamp. of the Garretson Blue Dragons, as his team is 0-8 on the season, looking for their first win. This has been a season of struggle, as some key pieces from a year ago have now left his camp, and he's looking for new leaders to step up. Here he is to talk more about where his program is and how they continue to build this year. Head coach of the Garretson Blue Dragons, it's Tad Heitkamp. Well, Coach, as we get ready for another basketball game, let's start off with, I guess, pointing out the obvious here in the room. 0-8 at this point when it comes to basketball. You're not necessarily focused on making this amazing 12-0 run, finish off the season 12-8, and being one of the best teams in state. You're just working on getting things corrected. What has been the past couple of weeks of getting refocused, not just on basketball of itself, but just the game of life, and knowing that you're going to go through these type of stretches, not in the basketball court, but also in life?
Absolutely. It's been that exactly. We just talk about control what you can control in life, and that means inside the lines at the basketball court or in the classroom at school, is control what you can control, get better every day at practice, and take every drill serious. And that's something that we really emphasize with the kids, is trying to get game-like speed, game-like mentality during practice. And that's something we've, as a coaching staff, we've been really pushing the kids to just realize, like the layup drills, a simple layup drill. Good basketball players sometimes don't do the extra, and they just kind of go up to the rim halfway, and instead of going in hard and anticipating maybe a contact and just finishing stuff. So it's just getting better every day, and to try to keep them focused and motivated. You're right. When you're talking to young kids who have very little varsity experience, they're looking, all they're seeing is 0-8, is trying to motivate them to just keep getting better, and that things are going to get better. You're gonna have rough spells in life, and how do you handle that? And that's something that, ironically enough, just had that conversation this morning with the kids, and just tell them, hey, obviously I want to teach them some skills on the basketball court, but ultimately I want them to be better men in our community, better brothers, when they get older, obviously significant others. So that's what we really focus on with these young men.
And I think the downfalls of your team and the struggles of kind of growing up, as I always like to use the phrase, baptism by fire, that you're currently going through, is also happening in Vermillion. Of course, Jay Drake. He's had this group of guys, and just in Jay Drake's career, it seems like Vermillion's always able to reload year in and year out, but this happens to be one of those rare years that they're not quite necessarily able to reload. They've been dealing with a lot of different injuries, and they're just trying to figure out now the youth and what the next step is. So when you watch on film, you have to say, you know what, this is another game that's winnable. This is one that we can get. How do you prevent, or I should say, how do you purvey that message across to your group of guys saying, hey, this is a winnable game against the Vermillion Tanagers?
Absolutely. And we'll just start from the physicality part. Vermillion you typically always has that couple of 6'5" guys, 6'6" guys. They always have that. And I know they have one gentleman, I think he's listed at 6'7", but the rest of them are that 6'1" to 6'2". And we'll talk to them when you can show the kids that physically they're built almost identical.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden, all right, the confidence, he starts to grow. Maybe the chest puffs out a little bit. The chin's up high. Then all of a sudden they get that mindset of, okay, you know what? I'm not going to have to worry about boxing out 6'4", 6'4", 6'5", 6'7", things like that. I can go and compete. And unfortunately, that's a battle in today's age that we have to do with our kids. And then on top of that, when you're struggling a little bit, any sort of advantage you can show a young basketball player that, hey, you can compete. That's what we show them. And then you show them the records. And then there's things you can always build on that. But the bottom line is that everything comes back to my team, the Garretson Blue Dragons, you still have to be able to hit that shot. You have to be able to go in and finish a layup, shoot 70% from the free throw line or better, shooting 35 to 45% from the, 2-point arc, whatever, field goal area. We've got to be able to build upon that. And, they know Vermillion is typically a powerhouse down there. Jay has obviously done a phenomenal job with his program. But going into this year, there's a little bit different mindset because they're not, 6-1 or 7-2 or whatever. That's you hit it right on the head. There's a big difference when a young man sees that. Okay, yeah, they're maybe struggling a little bit as well. But the bottom line is, as a coach, we've got to prepare them. That Coach Drake is going to have them prepared. They're going to come out. They're going to battle. And the other part is, you got to be real with these young men too. And say, hey, you know what? People are looking at you as 0-8 in Garretson. This is their time to come out and just try to thump somebody. Yep. So you're going to have to rise above that as well. And so, yeah, you can show them that that bunch of 6-1 guys, but you also got to remember you got a target on your chest just because you are 0-8. So it's just something it's a fine line of how you got to coach these young men.
Once again, that is head coach Tad Heitkamp of the Garretson Blue Dragons here on Live Ticket TV. Let's continue on as we get into our next coaches' conversations. It's head coach Jay Drake discussing the changes that were made on Tuesday against the Elk Point Jefferson Huskies and how they focus not on a Blue Dragons team that is 0-8, but they focus back in on the Vermillion Tanagers. It's head coach Jay Drake. Coach Drake, matchup against the Garretson Blue Dragons, a matchup that's favorable for your team tonight. We'll talk more about the Blue Dragons here in just a moment, but let's go back to Tuesday evening. We never got your thoughts on a couple questions that we had, so let's revisit those right now. Let's go back to halfway through the second quarter. You make a decision to pull the starters, and if you will, put in the second team and let them finish out the first half. Were you just fed up with the effort from the first team? What came in that decision-making of putting in the second team and letting them finish out the first half?
Yeah, I think I put the next crew in at about the 5-minute mark of the second quarter. And, essentially it was one of those things that we as a coaching staff, and when we talked to our group, obviously at halftime and then for quite a while after the game as well. But we just saw, and I saw, I guess, as a head coach, some, I don't know if I should say similarities or just some things that looked eerily similar to what we basically saw for about 4 quarters in the T game.
Sure.
And there's no doubt that, as I said, EPJ's got a really nice basketball team. I think they're a top 10 caliber team. I know they have hopes and are good enough to, if they can get to a SODAC 16, to possibly even get into a state tournament. But from our side, we just didn't feel we were getting things done. And as a coach, I've got to look at myself. Number one is, why aren't our guys, or why weren't we prepared, especially for a region and conference rival, and also with our players. They got to kind of hold themselves accountable as well. So. It's one of those things that EPJ is a good team, but in my mind, there's no way we should be down 29-8, 11 minutes into the game, basically. And, just from a, body language on some things, effort, just energy. So we made a change. I thought the next crew, the fear is it could even get worse. And it basically just kind of hung right there at that 21. I think we're down 22 at half. And then, to our team's credit and our players, they kind of responded to the message that our coaching staff had at halftime, and we had a lot more fight, a little more energy and effort in the second half. And when that happens, some positive things happen, and we kind of never really got back into it. But there's a couple times midway through the third, I think we got it to 13-14 and had the ball, and you're thinking, hey, we could make some things interesting here. Same thing early fourth quarter, a couple times got it down to 13-14 with possession, or if you knock down a 3, get that thing to 10-11, you just never know. But Better second half for us, but no reason we should have been down that bad at halftime.
Looking at this Garretson Blue Dragons team, let's be honest, I've been able to talk to Coach Heitkamp, and he's giving me kind of the same story. Right now, his crew isn't necessarily focused on the Vermillion Tanagers. They're just focused on finding a reason why they love basketball again. It has been a tough stretch for their program to begin the season. They have not won a game. They've been in some games, but just have not been able to finish it off. Going into this game yourself, I feel like maybe you feel a little bit like Coach Tad, and just not maybe some of those things, as you just mentioned, have gone right for your squad. How much is tonight a get-right, feel-good game, and get out of Garretson with a much-needed victory?
Yeah, we're obviously looking for a win just from the confidence standpoint. You are right on Coach Heitkamp. We're in similar situations that, they're probably not so much worried about the Vermillion Tanagers. And I would say we're probably sitting here and probably not that worried about the Garretson Blue Dragons. And when I say that, it's nothing against them.
Yep.
We have to take care of ourselves, and we got to worry about ourselves. And that was kind of the message. With the weather the last couple of days, we were able to get a full day of school in on Wednesday, but administration wanted all practices done by 4:30, so we basically only had about 45 minutes, but we got a few things in and talked about some things, and then, with no school yesterday, we're no practice, and now we're kind of rolling into the game tonight. But Garretson, they're in a tough spot because they really were going to have a nice group coming back. The one Schluter kid is a returning starter for them, and he had 15 against us last year. But then probably their two best players that were returning from last year was the Long kid, who ended up their family and his dad got the superintendent job at Lyman, and is now at Lyman County for his senior year. And the big Cloth kid, who's like 6'8", 6'9", transferred over to Del Rapids and is actually starting for Del Rapids, which we'll see next week. So, if they had those two kids back who are very good and were 3-4 year starters along with Schluter, they expected to have a really good team or a very competitive team this year. And when you lose your two best players, that's tough. And they're just, like you said, trying to find themselves. But they're dangerous, those two, because they've played in some close games. And like we talked with our group is, if our 4 quarters we played against T, and then the 2 quarters we played in the first half against EPJ, if that's the team that steps on the floor, there's not a lot of teams we're going to be able to beat in Class A. So we've got to get that figured out. We've got to play better. We've got to play harder. We've got to play with energy. We've got to play more consistent. If we do those things, then we've also proven that we can be a competitive team at times too.
Looking at this squad, I feel like against EPJ, we saw it, but they don't get enough recognition because of the way that you lost against the Huskies. Trey Hansen looks good. He just needs to hit a shot to build his confidence. You and I have said that so many different times, and it just seems like that's been the narrative so far this season for him. He's just that close. And then young Skogsberg is looking dynamic. Again, he just seems to be coming in at the wrong times, where his points are just more of an effort to get Vermillion back into a game than helping them win a game. How much do they need to make a step forward tonight against Garretson?
Yeah, both those guys, two young kids, like we've spoken in the past, neither one of them was even dressed on our varsity before Christmas time. And then over Christmas break, we kind of, just based on sub-varsity games and what they've done in practice, got them on the varsity. And then recently here, they've been in a rotation. We moved Trey into the starting lineup against EPJ, and both are doing nice things. Two young guards. Trey did hit a 3 there in the second half, which was nice to see, and he's capable of doing that. But he really sees the floor well and can handle the basketball. Led us in rebounding again the other night with 8 rebounds against EPJ. And then Bryson, he can score. He finds ways to score the basketball, and both have shown a confidence for young kids, kind of a fearlessness. And like anything, there's going to be bumps along the road, and they've got to learn as they go here, as they gain experience. But have seen some bright spots, and we need that to continue along with the rest of our guys here the next month and a half.
once again, that is head coach Jay Drake here on the pregame show. Let's get into our starting five for both the Vermillion Tanagers and the Garretson Blue Dragons, as Vermillion will be going with their starting five from what we saw the other night. But first, let's meet our Garretson Blue Dragons. Tonight's starting five will be number 3, Blaine Trower, the 6-foot junior forward. Number 4, Dylan Jensen, the 5'11" senior forward. Number 5, Ramsey Schiltzler, the 6'1" junior forward. Number 13, Sam Schlater, the 6'4" senior guard. And number 15, Ian Butner, the 6'1" sophomore guard for the Garretson Blue Dragons, again coached by Tad Heitkamp. The Blue Dragons coming in 0-8 overall. For the Vermillion Tanagers, as we mentioned, it's the starting five that we saw against EPJ. It will be number 23, Zone Robinson, the 6'1" junior guard. Number 24, Carter Hansen, the 6'2" sophomore guard. Number 32, Wyatt Gestrine, the 6'2" senior guard. Number 33, Trey Hansen, the 6'1" freshman guard. And number 52, Carter Skogsberg, the 6'4" senior forward for the Vermillion Tanagers. The Tanagers come in to tonight's game 3-6 overall, 0-4 inside Region 4, 1-5 in the DAC 12. We are set and ready to go for game number 2 after it was a dominating performance from the Vermillion girls, winning 51-25 earlier in doubleheader action. Vermillion girls moving to 12-0 on the season. Vermillion trying to find their 4th win as they win the opening tap. A quick 3-pointer from Robinson. Off the mark, Skogsberg gets the rebound. Carter bodies up the man, and a foul is called. Foul given up right away. It will go against Skogsberg, picking up his first personal and the first team foul as he knocked over that time Dylan Jessen. 7:49 first quarter. This is a Garretson Blue Dragons team that just averages under 40 points a ball game, shoots just under 24% from the field. Gestrine with the steal to Robinson. Robinson easily off the glass and good for 2. Again, Coach Heitkamp, great coach for the Garretson Blue Dragons, just trying to get his team refocused. Drive in, shot off the mark, and now a foul call, charge taken by Skogsberg, as the foul is going to be called against Sam Schlater, the baller, if you will, for the Garretson Blue Dragons, as he picks up his first foul. So both teams have picked up a foul, and we're not even 45 seconds into the ball game. Carter Hansen holds it above his head. Pump fakes, now we'll get it to the sniper, back to Hansen, now over to Skogsberg, to Trey Hansen, Hansen to Carter Hansen, will now go to Wyatt Gestrine, the sniper off the mark. Robinson with the rebound, goes back up. You betcha so. Have a night, young man. Already 4 points for him in the ball game. Vermillion leads 4-0, 6:53 first quarter. Garretson Blue Dragons with Ian. Ian at the circle. Guarded closely by the freshman Trey Hansen. We just talked with head coach Jay Drake. Would love to see the younger guys get going more and more. And another quick foul. Another charge taken. My goodness. Noah Gilbertson put him on alert. He might lose his charge takens in a season. Man, oh man, that guy had a lot of bumps and bruises along the way, going all the way to the state tournament. Vermillion with Gilbertson and many others a part of that great run. But already Skogsberg taking 2. And he's a hard man to knock over, to say the least. Hansen, the 3-ball. Carter, this one is off the mark. Fight for the rebound. Pulled down by Jessen. Yes, Cole.
Those 3-pointers are really going to be a key for Vermillion in this game. Garretson playing a 2-3 zone, but a very low 2-3 zone. Really not putting any hand up to the 3-point attempts by Vermillion.
And a reach-in foul call that will go against Trey Hansen. Hansen will pick up his first personal and the second team foul. So both teams have picked up 2 quick team fouls. Again, not even 2 minutes into this ball game. Inside, turn around. This one is good for Ramsey. Ramsey has his first 2 points of the ball game. Should just say first points of the ball game for the Garretson Blue Dragons. Ball inside. Good call there by the official, because sometimes you don't see that. Wasn't necessarily a kicking motion, but it is considered a kick. So a dead ball, and it will be...
Didn't at one point in the season you argued that it shouldn't be a kick?
You know what? Okay, you're right. But if we're going to make it a rule, then it has to be a rule. The sniper hits in my rant. Wyatt Gestring, who had a tough goal the other night against EPJ. Already 3 points for him in the ballgame. Vermillion leads it by 5, 7-2. And if Wyatt Gestring gets going early in this ballgame, you can say goodnight to it early. Because once he starts hitting from 3, he just doesn't miss. At the elbow, kick back out. Jumper from Schluter. This one no good. Hansen quickly pressing in the front court. Carter Hansen. Bounce pass to Trey. Trey will shoot the 3. This one just rattles off the mark. It looked like it was good. By the way, Cole, if you were given a most improved player, corner 3, this one off the mark for the Vermillion Tanager so far this season, I'd probably have to give it to Carter Hansen. I think Carter has just been, I mean, he was great coming off the bench last year, but he just, the size that he's growing even more this year, the way he's been able to shoot more confidently, it's been great to see. Three-pointer, this one is good for Ian Buechner, and he has his first 3 points of the ball game. The Blue Dragons draw it within 2. Wyatt Gestring gets it over to Hansen, back to Gestring, back to Hansen along the wing. Hansen will put down the dribble. One to go to brother inside. Back out to Gestring again. Once the sniper starts hitting, he just doesn't miss. Wyatt Gestring now 6 points for him here in the first quarter. 10-5 in the lane. Drive off the glass. Rebounded by Carter Hansen with the missed shot from the Blue Dragons. Hansen tries to get around one defender. Pump fake back out to Trey. Over to Robinson. Over to the corner with Gestring. Gestring picks up his dribble all the way back to the top with Trey Hansen. Back to Carter. Over 19 seconds on the shot clock with Gestring. To back to the top, Trey Hansen will shoot the 3. This one is off the front of the iron. Robinson, though, is able to come up with the rebound as he streaked after it. Gets it back to Carter Hansen. He'll shoot the 3. Good! Vermillion has hit 3 threes here in this first quarter. It's the first points for Carter Hansen. 13-5, 3:50 first quarter. In the backcourt, Blue Dragon just toss up to Schluter. Schluter wants to get a screen. He's going to use it. Puts up the floater. Can't get his shot to fall. Rebound by Skogsberg. Quickly, Trey Hansen into the front court. Now to Carter Hansen. Hansen rises up but can't finish off. Loose ball finally gathered in by the Blue Dragons. And to the front court, it will be Ian. Buechner across the timeline, slowing things down, calling for guys to move around now. They work it back over to Schluter. Schluter wants a screen once again. Tries to use it, but nothing doing as he now bounce passes over to Trower. Get it to Ramsey. Ramsey will shoot the 3. Good! And we're trading 3-pointers right now. Ramsey with 5 points in the first quarter, and it's a timeout from Coach Tad Heitkamp, his first 30-second timeout he's used. How about the shooting from two teams that have struggled at points this season to shoot?
Well, it's just about an exact opposite of the beginning of the last game. I mean, this is almost more points than both two teams last game scored in the first half, it felt like. So it's good to see these two teams get out and shoot. And if this pace keeps up, we're going to be in for quite the ball game.
13-8. Jay Drake by no means said he felt good about going up against 0-8 Garretson. Coach Drake has famously said when you play against teams that don't necessarily have the best confidence, as soon as they get a little bit in a game, you're in for a dogfight. Right now, Garretson, as we mentioned, able to hit 2 threes so far compared to the 3 threes Vermillion has hit. And if you keep hitting them from downtown, certainly going to be fireworks here tonight. Young Skogsberg is into the ball game along with Kerner. Gestring is on the bench along with Young Hansen. Robinson, pump fakes, now will make his move. Floater, this one left short. Skogsberg goes back up. He can't finish it off. Rebound by Robinson. Robinson lost it underneath. Schluter quickly into the front court. Schluter, fake pass, and a foul called as Young Skogsberg tried to get in the way. Could not do so. And he'll pick up his first personal and the third team foul. 13-8, 2:43 first quarter. Free throws upcoming for Sam Schluter, who has yet to score here in the ball game. He is the leading scorer for the Garretson Blue Dragons. Again, this just gives more and more life to the Blue Dragons if they can hit. First free throw is good for Sam. So again, first point. Ramsey has 5 and a 3-pointer for Ian Buettner for the Garretson Blue Dragons. 13-9, 2:43 first quarter. Schluter, a lot of dribbles here. Puts up the free throw, and this one off the mark. Hansen, cross the timeline. Back over to Young Skoggsberg. Wants to get it to his brother. Now Carter has it. The brother backing his way in. Oh, and a foul that will go against the Garretson Blue Dragons. Justin called for the foul, picking up his first personal and the 13th foul.
One thing you have to note, Garretson switched back into a man defense, see how that affects Vermillion's hot shooting at the start of this first quarter.
Matthew Gilbert will come into the ball game. Trower will check out for the Blue Dragons. Young Skoggsberg gets it right to his brother. You think they draw that one up in the backyard? Carter goes up and finishes it off, and Carter Skoggsberg has his first 2 points here in the ball game. It's 15-9, 2:17 first quarter. Pass over into the corner. It's going to be to Schluter. Schluter wants to use a screen again. 3-pointer. This one off the side of the iron. Robinson looks behind him. Almost tried to lean into the defender to draw the easy ticky-tack foul. But doesn't get so. Hansen the 3-pointer. This one off the mark. Kerner trying to pull it down, and Ethan Kerner is fought off that time with a rebound by Buettner. Quickly over to the corner as it's controlled with the Garretson Blue Dragons. They want to go inside, but it's going to be stolen away all the way up to Ethan Kerner. Kerner leaves his shot short. Rebounded by the Blue Dragons. And it's going to be stolen right back by Young Skoggsberg. Pump fake, strives in himself, and good. And Young Skoggsberg has his first 2 points. Pretty soon we won't call him Young anymore. 17-9, 1:25 first quarter. Quickly, the Blue Dragons the opposite way. Shot blocked away by Carter Hansen as he climbed climbed the ladder there to block it away. Now Ramsey, as the Blue Dragons were able to get it back. It's controlled with Ramsey in the lane. Jumper good for him. Ramsey now 7 points. He averages 10 a ball game. Ethan Kerner has in the front court, holding above his head, down to Carter Hansen. Hansen back out to Young Skoggsberg, who shoots the 3. Good! Young Skoggsberg is starting to light up. He now has 5 points in this first quarter. It's 20-11. You're telling me Vermillion's won 3 games so far this season the way they're shooting the 3 ball tonight? Never would believe you. Buettner inside, turnover, quickly up to Robinson. Robinson, plenty of green acres in front of him. Robinson, 6 points for him. Vermillion Tanagers, 2 different guys with 6. Young Skoggsberg with 5. 22-11, and now a travel will give it back to Vermillion with 19.8 remaining here in the first quarter. Cole, there's a famous song by The Hours. It's called Alley in the Jungle. It's not about how you start, it's about how you finish. And Vermillion, we've seen great starts in the first quarter, but it hasn't necessarily been there for 32 minutes. We're about wrapped up with 8. The question is, can they finish it off? It's with Hansen to Young Skoggsberg, shoots the 3. This one off the front of the iron, trying to get it back. Skoggsberg just threw it up there before the buzzer, and somehow it got close. Schluter shot a 3-quarter shot just for the heck of it. Wouldn't have counted anyways. 22-11 after quarter number 1. Cole Larsh, does this have the feeling of what we saw in that Lennox game a few weeks ago with the Vermillion Tanagers?
It kind of does, but this game feels different because it feels like Vermillion's in control of the pace. You know, in that Lennox game, it started off both teams going fast up and down the court, and then Vermillion just kind of fell off the tracks almost, it seemed like, and they couldn't quite keep up. Now it feels like it's flipped opposite. Garrettson's trying to play fast to keep up with how fast that Vermillion's been playing. As you see, if Vermillion can keep up this pace, this should be a rout. However, we've seen it before where Vermillion starts fast and kind of slows up in the second and third quarters.
22-11 as we enter the second quarter. Again, Vermillion did not play last night. The boys, after their game against Sioux Falls Christian, was postponed. By the way, that was postponed to February 2nd. The Sioux Falls Christian girls game has been turned from a single game now into a doubleheader. 22-11. Here we go. Let's start the second quarter again. Vermillion Tanagers. White Gestrine along with Robinson both had 6 points apiece. Young Skogelsberg had 5 points. 3 points for Carter Hansen and 2 points for Skogelsberg. And a quick 3 answered right back. And now Ramsey with 10 points here in the ball game. And a quick whistle that will go against the Blue Dragons. The Blue Dragons will now pick up their 5th team foul. So their 4th team foul here in this ball game. The foul as well will go against Trower, picking up his first. Inbound, Robinson to White Gestrine. White Gestrine looked one way, goes back to Robinson. Skogelsberg trying to get to Trey Hansen, who lost it for a moment, goes out of bounds. They say last touch by Trey Hansen. He can't believe it. Right in front of the official. 8-point deficit for the Garretson Blue Dragons, but as we always talk about, you give momentum to a team that hasn't won a lot, they will hang with you. And we have seen the Blue Dragons hang with a lot of teams. In fact, you look statistically wise, it's actually the second half that the Garretson Blue Dragons start to let up. They haven't been able to hang with a lot of teams as it gets later in ball games. So we'll see if they can't keep this up. Just like we said, Vermillion putting up 22 points. They're going to go way deep. Chasing it down is Buechner. Ian handed off to Trower. Trower drives in, wants to go over to Sam Schlater, and it's going to be a foul that will go against the Blue Dragons. Skogelsberg takes his 3rd charge of the ball game. I believe, without looking at my official stat book, 6 by Gilbertson multiple times in a season is the record. 22-14.
So 6 in a season or in a game?
In a game.
Oh, I was going to say 6 in a season seemed very low.
No, in a game. I believe it was 63 for him in a season.
That's impressive.
Jumper missed by Skogelsberg. Hansen misses, goes back up, and he's fouled. And he will head to the free throw line. Team foul number 6 now on the Garretson Blue Dragons. The foul also called against Trower, picking up his 2nd personal. Yeah, no, Gilbertson was knowing as taking a charge, and he was going to get multiple in a game. That was a given. Frustrated a lot of teams, and sometimes when they needed it the most, he was able to take a charge. Free throw for Hansen's off the mark. Hansen just can't get into a mojo yet. Substitution on for the Blue Dragons as Trower will come out, and it will be Rear who will make his way in. Free throw is good for Hansen, so he has his first point in the ball game. It's also the first point for the Vermillion Tanagers, 23-14, and now another foul called against Vermillion in the backcourt. This foul called against White Gestrine. So White Gestrine picks up his first personal and the 4th team foul for the Vermillion Tanagers. 23-14, 9-point lead, 6:31. Driving in, Ramsey kicks out, 3-pointer, good! My goodness, Ian Buechner, his 2nd 3 of the ball game, and head coach Jay Drake wants a timeout. He'll use his first 30-second timeout. Cole, my goodness, the 3-pointers that we're receiving, even Papa James Drake is coming over to look at the stat book right now.
Yeah, it's almost hard to believe. Both these teams, not the greatest of records. Sometimes
3-14.
Right, 3-14 combined. Vermillion, they've had some good shooting games, but then they've had some off shooting games. Garretson, they've hung in there a little bit, but they're shooting really good. It's almost impressive to see that both teams shooting this good early in this game.
3-14. You combine these two teams' records together. Yet it's 23-17, 6:22 second quarter, and it's done mainly by the 3-point ball so far tonight. Haven't really seen a whole lot inside. Just hot shooting for both teams. White Gestrine, Carter Hansen, down to Skogelsberg, back out to Robinson, to White Gestrine. He'll shoot the 3, just leaves it short, the sniper does. Rebounded by Ramsey. Brings in the front court, 10 points already for him. Again, he averages 10 a ball game. To Schluter, who's been held in check so far this evening. They work it around the perimeter. Get it back to Ramsey once again for the Blue Dragons. Back to Schluter now with 16 seconds on the shot clock. Dragons just messing around outside the perimeter. It's with Ian. Back to Schluter now with 7 seconds. He'll attack. Schluter can't get the runner to go. Rebounded by Carter Hansen. Hansen being hassled in the backcourt. Hansen into the front court. No look pass to his brother. Now to Robinson. Robinson, a one hop. Out to Gestrin. He'll shoot the three. This one off the mark. And the sniper has missed back-to-back threes. Don't often see that from him. 23-17, 5:15, second quarter. Ramsey guarded by Robinson. Back over to Schluter, who wants a screen. Not able to do much with it. Now to Ramsey. Ramsey drives in, off the glass, can't get a shot to fall, but gets back his own rebound, back up, leaves it short, ball being knocked around. It's going to be picked up by Ramsey, and Wyatt Gestrin gives up a foul, trying to get it back. Wyatt Gestrin picks up his second personal and the 5th team foul. And young Skogsberg is checking back in. Wyatt Gestrin will have to come out of the ball game. 23-17, 4:58, second quarter. Vermillion, their starting five, except for Wyatt Gestrin right now on the court. Ramsey over to Schluter, back to Ramsey, who lost it between his legs. Turnover. Robinson quickly in front court, gets by 2, and then passes it off to Carter Hansen, who's able to finish. Hansen, 5 points in the ball game. 25-17, 4:37, second quarter. Another quick turnover, all the way up to Trey Hansen. Take it in, young man. Good for Trey Hansen. That will give him confidence throughout the rest of the night. And Coach Heitkamp needs a timeout. He'll use a full this time. We'll step aside. We'll be back in 30 seconds here on a Live Ticket TV.
Like Tanagers are great at flying out of the way to miss your car. Deer and other drivers are not. If you're in any kind of accident, bring your vehicle to Blaine's Body Shop in Vermillion. We repair your vehicle to pre-accident condition and handle the entire process from start to finish, including an accurate estimate and dealing with the insurance adjuster. So good luck to the Tanagers, and if you're in an accident, bring your vehicle to
Blaine's Body Shop. Blaine's Body Shop. Automotive collision repair.
27-17 as we're into the second quarter. Vermillion Tanagers, a 10-point lead over the Garretson Blue Dragons. The Vermillion Tanagers, for just the third time this season, trying to get a sweep of games that they've played in. It seems like as of late, though, we've had a lot more of a single games that have been happening. Of course, here at Live Ticket TV, we've also been extremely busy with our weekends, including coming up tomorrow. Don't forget, wrestling, the DAC-12 tournament happening in Dakota Valley. We here at Live Ticket TV will have full coverage of all tournaments going on tomorrow. So make sure you stick around for that. 27-17. Of course, Live Ticket TV, your new home for everything Vermillion athletics. Controlled along the wing. They get it inside the paint. Jumper. This one is good for 2 as Ian Butner has now 8 points in the ball game. It basically has been 2 Blue Dragons who have scored so far. Skogsberg shoots the 3. This one is off the mark. Sam Schluter with the rebound. 27-19, halfway through the fourth quarter. Sam, dribbling between the legs, will now get it back over to Butner. As they get it to Weir. Back to Schluter. He lost it for a moment. Retrieves it back. Trying to get some space. Ramsey drives in. Ramsey, the floater, won the foul, and finally the whistle will come. A foul against young Skogsberg, picking up now his second personal and the 6th team foul. So both teams have hit 16 fouls. This is a shooting foul, so Ramsey will shoot 2. Again, he already has 10 points here in the ball game. First free throw is up, and this one is good. He averaged 10 coming into it. He now has 11. Also, Matthew Gilbert back into the ball game for the Blue Dragons. Rohrig will check in for the first time this evening as Trey Hansen will step out. 27-20, 3:38, second quarter. Second free throw. This one is good as Ramsey now has 12 points here in the ball game. 27-21, 3:33, second quarter. Rohrig Over to Hansen. Robinson. Again, Vermillion has only put up 5 points here in this second quarter after they put up 22 in the first. We wondered if the hot shooting could remain. Young Skogsberg, the jumper off the mark, fight back for the rebound with his brother, goes out of bounds off the Garretson Blue Dragons, so it will stay with Vermillion. Tanagers in their away red uniforms, the Blue Dragons in their home whites. Robinson gets the inbound all the way back out. Hansen pump fakes to the elbow, jumper, good. Carter Hansen now has 7 points in the ball game, the leading scorer for the Vermillion Tanagers, and their lead is back up to 8, 29-21, 2:56. Trying to get across the timeline, it's with Gilbert, bounce pass to Ramsey. Ramsey, step back three, this one off the mark, rebounded by young Skogsberg. He'll quickly zoom into the front court, try to get it underneath to Robinson, too high of a pass and goes out of bounds. Quickly Sam Schluter is back in the ball game. And also Trey Hansen is back into the ball game as young Skogsberg will check out. 29-21, 2:40 quarter. Blue Dragons bounce pass, but still have the backcourt. Finally going is Gilbert. Gilbert back to Ramsey. Ramsey to drive and a reach-in foul that will go against Connor Rohrig. Rohrig will pick up his first personal. It's the 17th foul, and it will be bonus, a 1-and-1 upcoming. For Ramsey, again, 12 points for him in the ball game. 2 of 2 from the free throw line, make it 3 of 3. The and one opportunity. With the bonus, we'll get another chance to make it 2 on this trip. It's up, and this one is good. Has 7 points in both the first and second quarter. Back to just a 6-point lead for the Vermillion Tanagers. Rohrig gets it down to young Carter. Old Carter. Now three-pointer. Robinson, this one's good. Robinson with 9 points in the ball game. Can't get those two Skogsberg mixed up. And also, Ramsey took a shot to, I believe, the nose, so he is bleeding, and he's going to have to come out of the ball game. Coach Heitkamp can't believe it. He's frustrated. He wants a call. And again, no, it's not to the nose. It looks like it's to the eye. So we'll see how quickly Ramsey, he's going to have to go back into the locker room now. The leading scorer for the Blue Dragons is missing. And the leading scorer by far, Sam Schluter, has it. Lost it for a moment, gets it back. Controlled with Weir. Back to Sam Schluter. Back out to Ian. 13 seconds on the shot clock. Now to Gilbert. Gilbert hands it off to Weir. Just moving around the perimeter. Handoff passes. Floater misses everything. Carter Hansen controls it underneath. Throws it all the way up to Connor Rohrig. Rohrig lets the defenders jump. Should have leaned into him going up with his shot. Didn't do so. And the Blue Dragons hold defensively. Blue Dragons student section getting into it, thinking that's a block. Again, it was just Rohrig, who never quite went up with a shot correctly. Missed shot by the Blue Dragons, 32-23. Carter Hansen back out to Robinson as this one's starting to pick up pace towards the final 2 minutes. Rohrig, the three-pointer, this one off the mark. Skogsberg, the rebound, back up, and Carter Skogsberg now with 4 points in the ball game. 34-23, 1:01 remaining here in this first half. And now a pass stolen away by Hansen. He gets it back to Carter. Carter pump fakes the three, will go to the free throw line. The floater, this one lives short. Tip back out to Trey Hansen. Hansen wants to go to Carter Hansen. Hansen to Robinson. Robinson, the three-pointer. This one off the mark. Ball tipped around. It will go out of bounds and will stay with the Vermillion Tanagers. And that fast pace, Vermillion looks absolutely gassed. 34-23, but they're back up to an 11-point lead. Don't forget, coming up at halftime, we'll see if we can't catch up with a player with the Vermillion girls and also catch up with head coach John Brooks. Trey Hansen to Carter, now to Rohrig, over to Robinson along the baseline. Drive for him, goes up through contact, gets the shot to go, and one opportunity. As with that, Robinson now has 11 points in the ball game. He had 6 in the first quarter, trying to make it 6 in this second quarter. 36-23 as Vermillion expands their lead once again. The Blue Dragons haven't been able to find offense without Ramsey again, who went out with an eye injury. Free throw is good, so Robinson now 12 points for him. He's the only Tanager at double figures right now. 37-23. Schluter picks up his dribble, get it over to the corner, three-pointer. This one is good. Another three-pointer for Ian. Ian continues his hot streak. He now has 11 points here in the ball game. And no last-second shot for Vermillion. 37-26 as we head to halftime. Vermillion, after getting off to a slow start to start that second quarter, finally found their mojo, able to score 15 points in the second, again put up 22 in the first, and they lead it by 11 as we move to halftime. Here, first half statistics, like I said, we'll see if we can't catch up with John Brooks and a player. That's all on the way here on Live Ticket TV.
Let's be real. You work. You worry. You wait. You wonder. These are the challenges of life on the farm. As a community bank, First Bank and Trust understands this rural reality. They're big enough to help ag producers grow for the future and small enough to get to know you right now. Our ag bankers have ag backgrounds, which means we'll help you work through the tough years and make the most of the great ones. First Bank and Trust. Real banking, real easy.
This is what matters. This is beyond X's and O's. This is the difference mutual respect makes. This is what character looks like. This is what defines us in South Dakota. This is sportsmanship. School sports, it's not the outcome that matters most, but the way the games are played. This message presented by the South Dakota High School Activities Association and the South Dakota Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
(37-26) right now at halftime. The Vermillion boys lead it by 11 over the Garretson Blue Dragons. Before we get to our first half statistics and catch up with head coach John Brooks, we catch up with Taylor Rivers, who has splashed onto the scene over the past couple of weeks. Taylor, let's begin with it, because begin this season, it seemed like Vermillion had a good rotation going. Injuries happen. A sickness happens to Livy Regneris. All of a sudden, you find yourself on the varsity squad. How nervous were you being called up to play varsity action and get a lot more action JV-wise?
I wasn't that nervous because I've played with them for a lot of other sports, and yeah, so I wasn't very nervous at all.
Yeah, you mentioned something about playing other sports. We had our chance to watch you on the soccer field this past fall. Is that where a lot of the confidence comes from, was playing soccer with the varsity squad in the fall season?
Yeah, it got me more comfortable playing with all of them, and yeah.
Well, of course, we can't overlook the dynamic when it comes to your mom and your father. Of course, mom, a great USD basketball player, and dad as well. Who gets on you more when it comes to basketball at home?
Well, it's mostly my mom. She, says a lot of things that I did bad and did good, and yeah.
She criticizes you a little bit too much?
Yeah.
Well, again, it's been exciting to watch what you've been able to accomplish here so far. Giving up in those big moments, you even go back to last Tuesday where the gym got loud, 46-46. You knew just one of your two free throws, your team would take the lead. What were you thinking going up to those free throw attempts?
I was thinking, just put one in, and I did, and I was very confident that I would put it in, and yeah.
Something we've also seen with this varsity squad is they've really gathered around you, and we saw that a lot when last Saturday come around and you won the Player of the Game award and everyone came around and gave you a big hug. How great of a feeling was it just not to win that type of an award, but also have every single one of these girls, whether they're a sophomore all the way up to a senior, just giving you a big hug?
It was pretty awesome. They support me a lot through everything, and they know I can do it, so yeah.
12-0 on the season. How exciting is it to get off to a good start this year?
It is amazing. I'm so glad to be playing with them.
Well, Taylor, let's keep on it going and keep on winning games, all right?
Okay, thank you.
There she is, Taylor Rivers here on our halftime show. We're going to step aside. We're back with more here in just a moment.
Times like these, it's good to know there's a place where people know who you are, no matter how long you've been gone. A place where the smells of home cooking are still in the air, where a simple wave warms your heart, and sharing stories is just a way of life. It's good to be home. Agraria Insurance Company, protecting what's important in life. Contact your local Agraria Insurance Company agent.
Halftime of the boys' game, 37-26. You look at the final score, you would say, you betcha, good game. 51-25 for the Vermillion girls. But Coach Brooks, it seemed at points, especially to start that third quarter, you didn't even almost come off the bus, let alone come out of that halftime locker room. I know you can look at this and say, you know what, we never expected a 26-point victory. But it seems like there was a lot to take away from this game that you need to work on just with intensity.
You know, it's crazy. I don't think people realize how much you get out of your routine when you don't get practice.
Yeah.
And you could see Garretson didn't practice yesterday. We didn't practice the last 2 days, and you could just tell. And that's why those days that we can get in the gym are so important. And, we told the girls afterwards in the locker room that we were really happy with our defensive effort. I thought we flew around. We forced them into 33 turnovers. We had a ton of deflections and runouts. I thought we did a good job with our rotations, rebounding. But offensively, for some reason, we had a little trouble passing, catching. It just seemed like our minds were racing a little bit, and we couldn't slow ourselves down. So probably a little jittery, not being in the gym since since Tuesday against South Point, and obviously some things to work on.
When you look at that type of performance, even 26-11, the way you had forced 17 turnovers in that first half, how comfortable were you at least heading into the second half, knowing that maybe the offense isn't there, but you can rely on the defense?
Yeah, and being able to rely on the defense, and then honestly, I thought that our offense was going to kind of come around in the second half. We were excited. We're like, okay, we didn't play great in the first half offensively. We missed a lot of shots, and like I said, we turned it over quite a bit. But we felt like, okay, we got a half underneath of us. Maybe we'll kind of settle in here. We just never really did. But like you said, luckily we got some good turnovers during the third quarter. We got some transition buckets, and that really helped us out.
When you step away from this game, how much of a shock is it to you that you actually dominated Garretson so well? I have a feeling this could be a Blue Dragons team that we see in the Sodak 16.
Yeah, Garretson has a great basketball team. I mean, they are very talented. They can do a lot of things to put you in tough spots. Like I said, they just played Sioux Falls Christian at Christian to a 7-point game a couple days ago, so we knew how good Garretson was. So that's kind of what we talked about as coaches. We don't want to harp on this one too much. We just won by 26, and against a really good team.
Yeah.
So we did some things well. There's no doubt about it. But I think just it's going to be nice for us next week. We finally get 3 practices in a row. We haven't had that in forever. And just to get back in the gym, get some practice time, it will help us.
I know we always like to say never look ahead, and you're going to give me the coach's cliche, one game at a time. I can already see you smiling. But how much, as just a coach, not as a team, but just as a coach, do you try to plan to make sure you keep legs as fresh as you possibly can this week, knowing that you have a great Laverne, Minnesota team coming up next Saturday?
Yeah, and then not only that, but then you kind of look at the next week. We got 3 games again, a really tough opponent. So we're going to hit a 2-week stretch here, or 5 games in about 8 days that are going to be really tough. And that's what we just got done telling the girls. You had 2 days off before this game. After today, kind of seeing us flood, we should probably be practicing tomorrow. But we're going to give you the weekend off, knowing that we still get 3 practices in before Del Rapids. Because once that Del Rapids game hits on Thursday, we got to grind of 5 games, like I said, in 8 or 9 days. And it's going to hit us, and it's going to be some really good basketball teams. So we got to get our rest.
Yeah, talking about Laverne, one of the top teams in Minnesota. Good chance you're in a collision course right now for Hamlin. You're going to meet. Well, that's going to be a huge matchup. Of course, they have a big game tomorrow in Sioux Falls Christian. Sunday, are you nervous? Do you feel comfortable? I mean, what are you thinking with the 49ers?
I love where the Niners are sitting at right now. I think the defense is so solid, and for some reason Brock Purdy just does not seem that he's getting rattled. So I think the Niners are in a good spot.
Do you think the Niners can actually come to the link, though, and win? Because the Eagles, when it comes to the postseason, they don't lose too often when it comes to the link.
You know, I think the Eagles got out to a great start this year, but I think the pressure is going to get to them.
Okay, we shall see. Coach, appreciate it as always. Have a good weekend, all right?
All right, thanks a lot, Heath.
There he is, head coach John Brooks here at halftime. As just like that, it begins our second half. Of course, John Brooks, a huge San Francisco 49ers fan. Of course, myself, a big Philadelphia Eagles fan. We'll see how the Eagles do coming up tomorrow. I do feel comfortable with them taking on the New York Giants. Not too worried about that, and the 49ers as well. I feel like those could be 2 big blowouts of a game. So, hey, don't you laugh. Don't look at Week 18 either, that Eagles-Giants game. Both teams playing backups, and no one really cared at that point. Gilbert has it for the Blue Dragons as we are underway. Cole, 37 points for the Vermillion boys in that first half. I mean, they're on track right now to get 75. Can they keep this momentum up?
Well, we're ultimately going to see. I mean, there's definitely a good chance they did, considering that first half of the second quarter, they really slowed down and kind of let Garretson get back into it. I think they pick up the pace again, maybe put a little bit more ball pressure on the outside instead of letting them shoot open threes like that one.
And that one a big 3 as well, as Slam Schluter finally hits his first shot from the field. Gestrine, corner 3 for him. This one rattles in and out, one that usually falls for him, 37-29. We talk about a Garretson Blue Dragons team, 0-8 on the season, trailing by 8 right now. They certainly believe at the moment. And it's going to be a travel. By the way, we have never seen Ramsey, who picked up an eye injury in that midway through the second quarter.
I saw him while you were doing the interview. He was in street clothes, and he was walking out the door with, I believe, either his father or an athletic trainer.
Oh, boy. So Ramsey, who put up 14 points in that first half, is not going to be featured back for the Garretson Blue Dragons. That is a huge hit, and we'll see how much it plays a factor as well for the Blue Dragons. That's huge. He was really the spark offensively. They're going to have to rely even more on Schluter, who didn't pick up any really points. Again, just a free throw in that first half for him. 10 seconds on the shot clock. Ramsey was also a spark on offense. Jumper, this one good. The other man who's been big for him on offense is that man right there. Ian now has 13 points in the ballgame. 37-31, and just like that, the Blue Dragons draw it within 6 once again. Vermillion has yet to score here in this third quarter. Turnaround jumper, good for Robinson, just as I said that, and immediately a head coach, Jay Drake, wants a timeout. 39-31, 5:40, third quarter. And it will be the second and last 30-second timeout that Jay Drake will use. Don't forget, coming up tomorrow, we have plenty more action when it comes to sports with Live Ticket TV, as tomorrow we will have wrestling in the DAC-12 Conference Tournament happening in Dakota Valley. So if you can't make it over there, we'll have coverage of every single match going on with our screens tomorrow. So you can find all the action again with Live Ticket TV. Cole Larsh, myself, along with the Ross boys from Canton, all joining in on the broadcast. Mainly, actually, I should just say you three. I'm not good at wrestling. Wrestling's like the one sport that I'll take a side seat to, all right?
Well, I would take a side seat as well, but I think somebody's got to man the computer, and I can handle that.
All right. Well, I guess they'll put me in the action then a little bit. I can learn wrestling on the fly.
Well, let's say I'll get in the action too, but I will primarily be manning the computer.
3-pointer miss for
Schluter quickly in the front court. Trey Hansen, he's going to attack. Hansen's shot was blocked, but also a foul that goes against Schluter. Schluter will pick up now his second personal and also the first team foul. 39-31, and free throws upcoming for Trey Hansen, who so far in the ball game has 3 points, all coming back in the second quarter. He is 1 of 2, now make him 2 of 3 from the free throw line. So 4 points for him here in the ball game. Second free throw up, and this one is good as well for Hansen. He now has 5 points. Vermillion Tanagers, it's been impressive. 6 different scores as well for them. Again, they put up 37 points in that first half. They've now had some bucket and a couple of free throws that have got their scoring started here in the third. It's controlled with Ian. Ian trying to get away from Trey Hansen. So they now work it out over to Gilbert, and a quick turnover as they want to get it back to Gilbert. Robinson comes the opposite way, goes up with his shot, and Wyatt Gestrine is going to commit a foul. Gestrine will pick up his third personal and also the first team foul of this second half. Gestrine is also, look like he's coming up with a little bit of a limp there. Can't tell. Looks like his knee brace was on there fully. 41-31, so Gestrine will come out. Again, Gestrine is limping a little slow. Maybe it's not the knee, maybe more of that left ankle that he's having an issue with at the moment. 41-31, 10-point lead as the Garretson Blue Dragons try to chip back their way into it, and a move, foul called. A reach-in foul that will go against the Vermillion Tanagers, and Robinson. Robinson will pick up his first personal and the second team foul. 41-31, 4:31, third quarter. Inbound, Schluter has it, tries to make his drive, and it's going to be off of Sam Last, they said, as Carter Hansen reached in, popped it loose, and then it went off of Schluter, so it will be Vermillion basketball. 41-31, 4:25, third quarter. Hansen will bring it into the front court. Trey calling out instructions, running the offense. Again, Trey Hansen more takes the spot of where Ty Hertz would have been this season. Of course, Ty Hertz a part of the squad, but sitting on the bench with his torn ACL. Sad to see that happen to him during the football season. Hansen down to Skogsberg, and the big man able to finish easily. He's now got 6 points in the ball game, 43-31. It's a 6-0 run by the Vermillion Tanagers, and they put it back up by 12. Quick turnover, and Hansen is tripped up, helped up by his brother, pat on the back, and Sam Schluter is now going to pick up his third personal and the second team foul. 43-31, 3:49, third quarter. Young Skogsberg will get it in to Hansen, the future of the Vermillion Tanagers, playing right there, an 8th grader and a 9th grader for Vermillion. Robinson, head bob, gets it back to the 8th grader, picks up his dribble, will now go to Carter Hansen. Hansen, over to Skogsberg, drives in, puts up the jumper, can't get the go. His brother, though, with the offensive rebound, brother to brother, 8 points for Carter. 45-31, 3:17 third quarter. The press in the backcourt, a high pass. Cole, this Blue Dragons team has certainly looked different with Ramsey gone.
Yeah, I mean, every team's going to be different if you take their leading scorer out of the ball game, and it's unfortunate they did come out with that shot to the eye, but it looked pretty bungered up when he was standing out there.
I would know all about those. Gotten punched in the eye. Yes, I should show you that sometime.
Let's be honest, you probably had it coming.
That's debatable.
Not that time?
I won't get in the full story here. Skogsberg, three-pointer, good! Young Skogsberg hits his second three of the ball game. He has 8 points tonight, 48-31, and Vermillion has just completely opened this up. They're on an 11-0 run all of a sudden. Missed three-pointer, offensive rebound, back out. Also took a shot to a wand that my dad took to the eye to me. Buechner, the jumper off the glass. You know, our power washer wand?
Oh, yeah.
Took one of those to the eye.
Those don't feel too good.
No, you should have seen my eye. First thing Dad said was, don't tell Mom.
I've heard that a couple times.
Kind of hard to hide those. Three-pointer for Hansen is off the mark. Rebounded by the Blue Dragons. Skoggsburg falls down and fight for it in the backcourt. And a foul call that will go against the Tanagers and Trey Hansen. Hansen will pick up now his second personal and the third team foul. It's on July 4th, too. I took that shot to the face. Yes, if you're curious, there's only one punch and it went directly to my right eye. 48-33, 2:09, third quarter. They're cleaning up some sweat. Skoggsburg fall down right there. Gotta clean that all up. What a great third quarter, kind of second part of this third quarter for the Vermillion Tanagers, as it seemed like Garretson made it a 6-point game, 37-31, and all of a sudden since then, Vermillion has outscored the Blue Dragons 11-2 during that run. Again, lead by 15, 2:05, third quarter. It's Ian who brings it across the center circle over to Schluter, who will shoot the three. Good. Can't give Sam Schluter that much space. He hits his second three of this third quarter. 7 points for him now. Young Skoggsburg trying to answer back. He does. Bryson Skoggsburg now hits double figures on the evening, as he's got 11 tonight for the Vermillion Tanagers, 51-36. Pump fake. Ian drives in. Shot blocked away. Oh, wow. A shot blocked away by Skoggsburg and a foul call. That one questionable for sure. Carter will pick up his second personal and the fourth team foul. 51-36, a shooting foul as well. So 2 free throws upcoming, and when it looked like he had a clean block, the first free throw is good. Buechner, so far tonight, 16 points, as he is now taken over as the leading scorer ever since Ramsey has gone down with his injury. By the way, Garretson has yet to get a bench point this evening. 17 points now in the third quarter for for Ian Buechner in the ball game. 6 in the third quarter. 51-38, 120, third quarter. It's with Hansen to Robinson. Lets the defender jump up, puts up his shot, can't get the fall, but he is fouled, and he'll shoot 2 free throws. So zone Robinson to the free throw line. The Garretson Blue Dragons, and is now their third team foul of this second half, and the foul that will come against Weir, picking up his first of the evening. First free throw is good for Robinson. Robinson now 15 points for him in the ball game. 52-38, 114 third quarter. Robinson, when we caught up with him earlier this season, just keep on shooting even when it's not having a good night. But tonight, certainly having a good night. Robinson now gives it 16 points for him. 53-38. 15-point lead for the Vermillion Tanagers. 1:08 third quarter, but the way this one has trended certainly doesn't feel like it's over with yet. A tip that went in the backcourt. The Blue Dragons get it back. Schluter has it. Trying to use the screen, fakes it, lost his dribble for a moment. Has to make the pass over to Gilbert. Gilbert puts down the dribble, guarded close by Ethan Kurtner. Wants to get it back to Schluter, but stolen away by Carter Hansen. Hansen will attack the defense off the glass easily for 2. Carter Hansen now 9 points in the ball game. 55-38. 35 seconds remain third quarter. Vermillion has let the Blue Dragons breathe for a moment, but just expand their lead once again. But Buechner answers back quickly, as he now has 19 points in the ball game, 8 in this third quarter. 55-40. Vermillion will hold for the last second shot. They try to make it back up to a 17, maybe even an 18-point lead. Robinson just holding on to it. Now with 7 seconds. Puts down his dribble. Robinson over to young Skoggsburg. Gets 2 defenders by him. Three-pointer off the mark. 55-40. 15-point lead as we head to the fourth quarter. That comes up here in just a moment on Live Ticket TV.
Advertising can be a struggle. Where to spend your money? Are you reaching the right audience? If you are looking for an effective method that reaches a large fan base at once, then here is your spot with Live Ticket TV. With over 65 schools in the state of South Dakota, we can help you find the right market. Plus, you can work with me, Heath, and a portion of all sales made go right back to the school. Get a hold of me today and let's get started in helping build your brand with Live Ticket TV. $55-40. Here's we enter the fourth quarter. The Vermillion Tanagers with a 15-point lead, trying to get the sweep here on the evening. As again, the Vermillion girls, they moved to 12-0 on their season earlier tonight, beating the Garretson Blue Dragons by a large margin of 26, 51-25. Gestry misses the opening three. Offensive putback there for Robinson. Robinson now with 18 points in the ball game, which is also his season high. It's been an impressive performance for him, as he's also scored in all quarters. Buettner pump fakes, turnaround jumper. This one off the mark, rebounded by Carter Skogsberg. Over to Hansen. Hansen across the timeline. Hansen to Trey. To Wyatt Gestring, back to Wyatt. Wyatt had a moment, he could have shot the three. Will get another opportunity. No, won't take it. Down to young Carter, and misses the jumper. 57-40. 7 minutes remaining, fourth quarter. Bounce pass, shot blocked away, and a foul called. A foul, who did it go against? Was it Wyatt Gestring? It was. No, they say against Skogsberg will pick up the foul, picking up now his third and the fifth team foul against the Vermillion Tanagers. And 2 free throws upcoming for Jessen, who has yet to score here in the ball game. First free throw is off the mark. He'll get another opportunity. 57-40, 6:57, fourth quarter. Second free throw is up, and this one is off the mark as well. So the Blue Dragons go 0 of 2 from the charity stripe. Trey Hansen attacks the opposite way, up and good. You can just see the confidence that Trey Hansen is growing more and more, as he now has 7 points in the ball game. 59-40. Pass all the way over to the Coffin corner. Back to the top. Drive in. Lost basketball for Buettner, up to Hansen. A 2-on-2 for a moment. Hansen goes up through contact, gets his shot to go. Carter Hansen with that now has 11 points in the ball game. Another Tanager to hit double figures, and Coach Heitkamp wants a timeout. Will step aside and take it with them. We're back in just a moment here on Live Ticket TV.
At Northern State University, your future starts with an affordable education that's personalized for you. Experience hands-on learning guided by world-class supportive faculty. You'll also enjoy a full campus life with opportunities to choose from numerous student activities and events, all in a safe, welcoming community. At Northern, you'll find a college that's right for you, a place to belong. Your future starts here. Unleash your potential at Northern.
There's no better organization that gives back to the student athletes than the Booster Club. The Vermillion Booster Club is committed to helping all student athletes grow. Join the Tanager faithful today by becoming a member at GoTanagers.com. While you're there, check out Team Apparel for your favorite sports team. Like them on Facebook to stay up to date on all the latest information and sports games. Join the Vermillion Boosters today and go Tanagers. $61-40. It's not over till the Fat Lady sings, but the Vermillion Tanagers with a 21-point lead. A lot looking like the Vermillion girls, comfortable and in control, as after the timeout from Coach Heitkamp for the Garretson Blue Dragons, just trying to get his team resettled. Again, it was great catching up with Coach Heitkamp as well. Very open, very honest about his squad. They've gone through their struggles and now missing one of their, at one point, leading scorer here in the basketball game. as Ramsey went down with an eye injury and has left the building, we believe, to go get checked out to make sure everything is okay. Schluter in the corner is going to be able to throw it off of Gestring, and it will stay with the Blue Dragons. The Blue Dragons also a team that don't go deep into their bench. Heard as well, they've lost 2 of their key players from a year ago when the Blue Dragons traveled down to Vermillion, including one moving on and starting now for Del Rapids, another one now with the Lyman School District. 61-40, 5:39, fourth quarter. Controlled with Gilbert to Jessen with 2 seconds on the shot clock. A shot that never got anywhere close as the Blue Dragons just try to force something up. Robinson quickly the opposite way over to Trey Hansen, now to his brother Carter. With Dad on watching just to the side of us. And a reach-in foul that will go against the Blue Dragons, their 4th team foul. And a foul that will be called on Jessen, picking up his 2nd personal. Excuse me, 3rd personal for him. Quickly into Skogsberg, can't finish right there at the rack as it was a catch-and-shoot play. He can't finish, frustrated with himself. Step out, but they'll get another opportunity. Trey Hansen to inbound, will go deep to Robinson. Robinson, deep 3, NBA range. Zone Robinson continues to line it up. 21 points for him in the ball game, 64-40. Again, he already reached a season high and now just piling it on. Jumper, you could even say a career high, as Robinson never put up those numbers last year either. Gestring back over to Carter Hansen. Back out to now Gestring. Back to Gestring, straight away 3, doesn't miss. Wyatt Gestring, the sniper, now 9 points for him in the ball game. 67-40. Vermillion could impede the running clock here yet in this 4th quarter. Robinson steals it away. Robinson off the glass and good for 2. Zone Robinson, 23 points for him, including 7 in this 4th quarter. 4-11 4th quarter. Jay Drake is starting to look a little bit more into his bench. Schluter pump fakes. Now to Ian. As they get it around the perimeter, drive in, space cut off. No, goes up with a shot as Trower is able to find just a little bit of room. Gets his 1st points of the ball game. Blaine Trower does. 69-42. Sorrell, Rohrig, and Kerner all ready to check in. Next dead ball, 3-pointer from Robinson is off the mark. Rebound, though, by Skogsberg, and he goes right back up. Carter Skogsberg with that hits double figures on the night. He's got 10. Tanagers now with 4 in double figures, and now a quick whistle, and that will be the end of the night. Robinson will finish with 23 points. Carter Hansen will finish with 11. Wyatt Gestring will finish with 9. Carter Skogsberg will finish with 10. Trey Hansen will also come out of the ball game. He will finish with 7. Now, young Skogsberg is currently in. He does have 11 points here in the ball game. Now, a quick inbounding foul that will go against Trillian Sorrell. That's also the 7th team foul, so we'll see bonus the rest of the way. So 1-1 upcoming for Schluter. 71-42. 2 free throws for Sam. What a great performance by the Vermillion Tanagers. It's the first time this season also they put 4 into double digits. Schluter, the free throw is good. He has 8 points here in the ball game. A player that averages just over 15. He is their leading scorer as well, but he's been held in check tonight. Free throw is up and good. 71-44, 3:26. 4th quarter as Vermillion out there with the 2nd team currently. Kearney gets over to Landon. Back to Kerner. Kerner to Rohrig. Rohrig now to Cerny, as the Blue Dragons are also going to succeed and bring out some of their 2nd team here in just a moment. Skogsberg pump fakes underneath to Kerner, and Ethan is able to score. Ethan has 2 points in the ball game. 73-44. Cole, I asked you, could they keep up the pace they had? The answer is yes.
Yeah, they just came out hot in that third quarter. And I think the only reason this game really got close was the first half of that second quarter, where Vermillion seemed to let off the gas pedal a little bit and slow down.
Trillian Sorrell end-to-end goes up. No, the shot will never count as there's a foul before. 15 foul on the Garretson Blue Dragons. And impressive, again, we talk about what Vermillion has been able to do here in the ball game. 7 different scores tonight, and we're going to see even more that get the chance to play, including Roovers, and also Tweet will check in the ball game, which means that Kerner will finish with 2 on the night, and Young Skogsburg will finish with 11 points in the ball game. So officially, Vermillion at the moment will have 4 players that finish in double digits. Again, the first time that has happened this season. Zone Robinson went off for a career-high 23 points, which matches his jersey number, and Vermillion currently leading it by 29. Drive in. Couple guys run into each other, and a charge is taken. Roehrig will draw the foul. 6th team foul against the Garretson Blue Dragons. And it's the second one as well that is called tonight against Weir. 73-44, 2:10, fourth quarter. Cerny holds it above his head. Vermillion's going to get the sweep tonight in Garretson. And what has always been some type of bad weather when we come here. 3-pointer Roehrig, this one off the mark. A few years ago when we came to Garretson, we didn't even have the game on a Friday. Had to move it to a Saturday afternoon because of bad weather. Remember that? Because I stayed in Sioux Falls that Saturday evening. No, I didn't party. I just...
Yeah, right. You're funny.
I was seeing
funny guy.
I was seeing someone at the time here in the Sioux Falls
God,
area.
I'm so surprised.
That has since...
You've derailed us now.
That has since dwindled and is long gone.
I'm surprised.
Oh, no, that was a bad one. 73-44, missed free throw on the 1-and-1. Rebound by Tweetness. Cerny will bring it into the front court. Now Sorrell back out to Cerny. Chandon will shoot the 3. This one is off the mark. Ball tipped back out. Vermillion will collect. Cerny will have an opportunity as he drives in, kicks back out over to Doan. Chandon, the 3-pointer. Good! Chandon hits the 3-pointer. It's an official's timeout to bring on subs. Yes, the Chandon 3-pointer will count. He was looking over. He was nervous for a moment that it didn't, but it does. So Doan becomes another scorer here in the ball game. Vermillion just continues to pour it on as Doan, another score for the Vermillion Tanagers. As we mentioned, 8 different scores. How about this? Vermillion girls had 8 different scores tonight. The Vermillion boys have 8 different scores. 112. We could even get to 9 for Vermillion yet.
I was going to say, they're going to finish with 9.
Cerny, I hope so. Landon picks up the loose basketball into the front court to Roofers. The question is, who's it going to be? Is it going to be Tweeten as they get down to him? Tweeten, no, can't finish it off. Cerny tries to get it back, and he steps out of bounds. By the way, we are also in a running clock, so, we don't have much time left. And everyone who dressed tonight gets the play as Wyatt Morse will check on. As Tweeten will come off. 38 seconds remaining. We will not get a 9th score tonight for the Vermillion Tanagers, it looks like. Blue Dragons will have another possession. Last one, Vermillion just lets him drive in. Bucket is good. 76-46. Cerny looks up at the clock. He knows the situation. Vermillion will move to 4-6 on the season. Will remain 0-4 in Region 4, 1-5 in the DAC-12. But a very, very good performance for the Vermillion Tanagers. In fact, when you look at their scoring performances, you can say this officially, the best of the season. 76-46, game number 2, and game number 1 for the sweep. The Vermillion girls beat the Garretson Blue Dragons 51-25. We have plenty coming up on our post-game show. We'll see if we can't catch up with a player, catch up with Jay Drake as well, and plenty more to get you set for tomorrow evening and tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow morning with wrestling. We'll have all those details coming up in our post-game show right here on Live Ticket TV.
Agriculture is like no other business, which makes Farm Credit Services of America like no other lender. Owned by the farmers and ranchers we serve, our customers have a voice in how we work, a stake in what we do, and share in our success. Discover a lender that works for you at Farm Credit Services of America.
Hi, this is Kristen Cunningham with Chic Boutique by Kristen & Company in Centerville, South Dakota. We're an all-size inclusive boutique offering sizes small through 3X on many items, including denim jeans and jackets, shackets, pants, skirts, graphic tees and sweatshirts, joggers, school swag, hats and caps, many fashion accessories including purses and lots of jewelry. And we also offer gift items for birthdays and weddings. Get your shopping fix at 636 Broadway Street, Centerville, South Dakota. Open Tuesday through Friday, 10 to 7, and Saturday, 10 to 4.
Let's be real. You work. You worry. You wait. You wonder. These are the challenges of life on the farm. As a community bank, First Bank & Trust understands this rural reality. We're big enough to help ag producers grow for the future and small enough to get to know you right now. Our ag bankers have ag backgrounds, which means we'll help you work through the tough years and make the most of the great ones. First Bank & Trust. Real banking, real easy. Member FDIC, Equal Opportunity Lender.
In times like these, it's good to know there's a place where people know who you are, no matter how long you've been gone. A place where the smells of home cooking are still in the air, where a simple wave warms your heart, and sharing stories is just a way of life. It's good to be home. Agraria Insurance Company, protecting what's important in life. Contact your local Agraria Insurance Company agent.
Limestone canyons, flowing waterfalls, and pristine beauty make Spearfish a sanctuary for those seeking the ultimate escape. Outdoor enthusiasts will find top-notch sport climbing, mountain biking, and UTV OHV trails. Guests are steps away from peaceful hiking trails and tranquil streams. Relax and rehash your day's adventure at one of our award-winning local breweries. Finding rest is an important part of any adventure. Lodging in Spearfish comes with a variety of choices, from cabins, B&Bs, and campgrounds to the comforts of your popular brand-name hotels. To find your unique adventure in Spearfish, go to visitspearfish.com now.
If you are self-motivated, accountable, and eager to learn new skills, we'd love to talk to you about a rock star career. Masaba in Vermillion is hiring full and part-time manufacturing positions for the rock industry. Masaba provides comprehensive training in a clean, safe, and state-of-the-art facility. Masaba offers competitive wages, a fun and interesting work environment and culture. Join our team of rock stars. Visit masabainc.com to learn more.
It's a nice sweep for the Vermillion Tanagers as game number 2, 76-46. Vermillion boys defeat the Garretson Blue Dragons, and earlier the Vermillion girls moved to 12-0 on the season as they beat a really good Garretson Blue Dragons team, 51-25. Looking at an interesting score before we take a look at the final game numbers here. Madison upset Del Rapids last night in action, and right now Madison is taking on Sioux Falls Christian, and a three-pointer is off the mark for the Bulldogs. At one point, they had a 9-point lead, 34-25 at halftime. They currently trail, though, 59-56 as the Sioux Falls Christian Chargers are back on top with 3:47 remaining in the ball game there. We'll have to keep our eye on that, though, because Vermillion, of course, still has to play Sioux Falls Christian. That'll be coming up on February 2nd. Vermillion boys, though, put up 22 points in the first quarter, which translates into 88 points if you continue to score at that clip. They finish with 76 on the evening, and an impressive performance all the way around as we see for the first time this season, 4 different players hit double figures. Zone Robinson finished with 23 points tonight. Both Skogsbergs 11 and 10 respectively, as the younger one gets the more points. Again, Bryson finishes with 11 points and Carter finishing with 10. And by the way, Carter Hansen dished in 11 points of his own. Wyatt Gestring was just 1 point off from hitting double digits as well, as he finishes with 9 points in the ball game. 7 points for Trey Hansen, and Sean Doan also hit a 3-pointer in the ball game. So again, for the Vermillion Tanagers, very, very impressive. Not only do all starters able to score, Ethan Kerner also dished in 2 late points, but as we mentioned, 8 different scores for the Vermillion Tanagers. That final score of 76-46. For the Garretson Blue Dragons, no one finishes with any points off the bench for them tonight. They were led in a way by Ian Butner, who finished with 19 points in the ball game. Ian did not score, though, in the fourth quarter. Again, we saw Ramsey Schutzler go out of the ball game with an eye injury at halftime. He finished with 14 points, and also Sam Schluter finished with 9 points in the ball game for the Garretson Blue Dragons. So again, all points coming from their starting 5, not able to find any bench points tonight for the Garretson Blue Dragons. But for the Vermillion boys, certainly a good game to bounce back off of after a tough loss against Elk Point Jefferson. Again, not playing against Sioux Falls Christian, but finding a win here, 76-46. And it's a quick turnaround as well for the Vermillion boys, as again, they have a makeup game now coming up on Monday against Pine Ridge. So that will be exciting to watch and see what the Vermillion boys can do with that makeup game. A Pine Ridge team that is usually, of course I should say not usually, never on the schedule, just happened to fit in that they could play a game. So that will be coming up on Monday. You'll have a little bit of a time to rest if you're the Vermillion boys before Pine Ridge travels to town. All right, let's step aside. When we come back, we'll get Cole Larsh's thoughts on wrestling. We'll also have some more final thoughts on tonight's game, and we'll catch up with head coach Jay Drake. That's all on the way next here on Live Ticket TV.
At Northern State University, your future starts with an affordable education that's personalized for you. Experience hands-on learning guided by world-class supportive faculty. You'll also enjoy a full campus life with opportunities to choose from numerous student activities and events, all in a safe, welcoming community. At Northern, you'll find a college that's right for you, a place to belong. Your future starts here. Unleash your potential at Northern.
The innocence of youth. Is there anything any better? But soon they'll be in high school and facing all the same challenges you faced. How to make friends, how to fit in, how to be cool. We want our children to have everything they'll need to live fulfilling and productive lives. Make sure the kids in your family are among the more than 57,000 participants here in South Dakota who take part in high school sports or activities.
76-46 is your final as the Vermillion boys get the victory over the Garretson Blue Dragons. As we catch up with Trey Hansen. Trey, let's begin with this season and where you now find yourself at. When it came to before even the Christmas break, you were just kind of on the JV team, putting in minutes at practice, trying to be the best player and best teammate you could be. What was the goal? Did you ever think you would get called into varsity action the way you have been?
I mean, I was always hoping to, but it all starts with working at practice. I mean, you got to work hard. You got to try to defend people, stop people, and show them that you can play.
Now, there's also the interesting dynamic as well when it comes to Carter out there. When it comes to back home, how much has he helped push you? How much is that physicality back there at home?
It always helps. It helps playing against your bigger brother. Makes you have to work.
Now, does he win a lot of the battles?
I mean, usually he does, but sometimes I can pull one away.
Well, it's been great to watch you. All of a sudden, you get thrusted into this varsity time. You get more minutes on the court. How did that finally feel, getting a lot more varsity action, and head coach Jay Drake really starting to rely on you?
I mean, it feels good, obviously. I'm coming in as a freshman playing. But, I mean, it all starts with my teammates. They're helping me out there, helping me know where I'm supposed to go, get to my spot. Just working hard.
You talk about your teammates, and we mentioned Carter, but then there's Robinson, there's Skogsberg out there as well. How much have they just kind of embraced you now that you've moved into a starting role as well?
They've done it really well. They're really like helping me out when I'm on the court, like passing me the ball, I'm passing to them. We're just trying to work hard, get some wins.
Well, you get a big win tonight, 76-46. How did that feel, getting back in the win column and doing it in dominating fashion?
It feels awesome. I mean, we've got our first road win today, I think. And I mean, we just need to keep stringing together good games, and we need to keep stringing together everything. Working hard, talking, out there playing hard.
You're going to have a lot more big games coming up. I'll let you get some rest. Have a safe trip home, all right?
Thank you.
There he is. Mr. Hansen here on the postgame show as Vermillion gets the win 76-46. By the way, that quick score update 68-59 with 52 seconds remaining in the ball game on Sioux Falls Christian and Madison. So Sioux Falls Christian is pulling away in that game. At halftime, it was a 9-point lead for the Madison Bulldogs. So the Sioux Falls Christian Chargers, good chance that they could be number 2 in the land if Sioux Valley does lose. I could see Sioux Falls Christian making that jump up to number 2, where Dakota Valley's number 1, but of course that's the Hanson Classic. A lot of big games coming up tomorrow there. Again tonight for the Vermillion Tanagers, a victory 76-46, 30-point victory for the boys, and also a dominating performance by the Vermillion girls. Cole, which one was better?
I think the boys' game has finally. I mean, don't get me wrong, both games were really good for both programs, but boys just came out super dominant, shot the ball really well the whole game, limited Garretson. Garretson shot the ball really well at first and third quarter, but other than that, limiting their shots and not giving them any attempts. And it's good for the Vermillion boys to get some momentum going into this back half of the season.
Talk about the shooting for the boys in that clip as well. We talk about 22 points in that first quarter and just able to continue to pour on. Very, very impressive of what they were able to do. As we join with head coach Jay Drake here on the postgame show, and we'll of course get his thoughts on it as well. And I think we can start with one thing right away. Coach, 32. Would you say 32 tonight?
Yeah, I guess
wow, you're reluctant to give it.
Yeah, I thought in the first half we, sometimes you get caught when you're scoring some points, which we did.
Yep.
Okay, and it's nice for us because we've had trouble scoring at times this year. But sometimes when you're scoring the basketball, you actually just think you're going. And I know the name of the game is outscore the opponents. But, you sometimes think, hey, we'll just outscore them tonight.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, defensively, anyway, we talked about it with our group at halftime. Their 26 points was too much at halftime. We weren't happy with that. And you're always playing kind of the game within the game. But, we reminded our crew, you can't look at records this or that.
Mm-hmm.
But what we do know is it was a team that, if you go down their schedule, they've scored 34, 36, 38. They've been in the 30s, and at halftime they're at 26 on pace to get into the, mid-50s maybe. So we had to do a better job, and it kind of wore them down at the end there in the fourth quarter because they still got 14 points there in the third quarter. But we had a solid fourth quarter and held them to 6 points there and just kind of wore them down. And, our offensively, it's just nice to, for our group to see the ball go in the basket at times. In the second half, we were able to our defense create some easy ones in transition. And the other thing in the first half, we did not, I think we're up 11, but we didn't finish around the basket very well down here. We probably had 5 or 6 layups that should have been finished. And what happens is sometimes, what people forget is if we put that in, it actually slows things down because now they got to take the ball out of the basket. We can go set up our press or whatever we're in defensively. Instead, you miss those. And I know at least on a 2 or 3 of them, we're missing. They're coming out, pushing in transition. Now, you still got to talk, get back, stop them in transition, but they got baskets at the other end. So just from a momentum standpoint, that's on us, not finishing at the basket. But that could have been, anywhere from 8 to 10 extra points and maybe prevent a few points at the other end, where an 11-point lead maybe is in the 20s at halftime.
Well, it was an impressive performance. The next question is, how do you carry this over? Because you look at some great teams. You can go back to a few years ago. It seemed like your team was able to grind out wins, and it was always carrying momentum into that next game. How do you build now momentum after winning by 30 points?
Yeah, it's huge. This is the halfway point from a game standpoint at 4-6, the 10-game mark, and hopefully we get the 10 games in the second half of the season all in and stuff. But I think we probably left one or two out on the table, with the Tri-Valley game, and, we had a chance late against Madison or whatnot. But the big thing we talked in the locker room is we can't, especially this time of year as we get into late January, going into February, but we can't be the 4 quarters against T, the first half against EPJ. We can't see that team on the floor anymore. We just got to keep building, and it'll be difficult. We were supposed to play the 3 games this week. Obviously, the postponement yesterday, but next week, the Pine Ridge game on Monday. We got a couple films on them, and from what I've seen, I was hoping they wouldn't be as good as what I've seen on film. So, and they're going to play, you talk about 32 minutes. There's 32 minutes of end line to end line.
Yes.
Going to have to be able to handle pressure. I compare them a lot to South Sioux City, but probably deeper and more skilled. Now, they don't have a 6'8" guy like the guy at South Sioux with that athleticism, but they're probably more skilled, deeper, and, it'll be a handful for us. It'll be a little different because it's only a varsity game, and a different time at 5:30. But it's a very good opponent to start the second half of our year, and then obviously Dells we know is good, and then we'll find out Sunday afternoon on who we play in the Clash. So first time we'll have 3 games in a week, and we got to be able to grind through them.
By the way, there was 35-24 at halftime, or excuse me, 34-25. Madison was leading. They just lost to Sioux Falls Christian 68-64. So an interesting game there.
And I think I said this to you today.
They're dangerous.
And people kind of, I thought I was joking around. Like, we had our chance, obviously. We led going into the fourth quarter against Madison, but they're a good basketball team.
Yeah.
And when you start talking Jensen and Brooks inside with those two at 6'8", 6'9", and they've got enough shooters around them, but they're 2 games, and that's back-to-back. They Christian didn't play last night, and they're going on the back-to-back nights against Christian and giving them everything they want. So, that game we wanted to win, but we felt good about our crew after that game.
Yep.
And that's what we said, like even the Lennox game, we're seeing some positive signs. It was the first half against EPJ that we can't go back and be that team anymore.
One other thing, you have Robinson, who goes out for his season-high 23 points in a ball game. But at the same time, we left off with our pregame conversation of young Skogsburg, and we need Trey Hansen to step up and start accepting the minutes that they're getting and scoring. We saw them do that nicely tonight. Who had a better performance, the young boys or Robinson?
All did nice things. They did their part and stuff, and it was nice for Zoe scoring a little bit here again and trying to build some confidence and shooting it well. And like we said in the pregame, Trey and Bryson, they're 2 young guards, but they're more than anything we said early on is from a coaching staff, we just don't want to see the deer in headlights thing, and neither one have shied away. They haven't blinked and have been basically fearless. I think you'll see those guys as the year goes on just develop more and more confidence.
Do you still feel comfortable, 49ers and the Chiefs going to the Super Bowl? You want to change anything?
That was my I'm gonna I
still feel confident.
I don't know about confident, but I'm not gonna it'd be easy to say I'm gonna pull out, but on that thing, but they're both in it still, and they're still alive, and I'm gonna stick to my word on this.
All right, Drake.
All right,
have a good one.
Yep.
There is Jay Drake here on the post-game show as the Vermillion boys get the victory. 76-46 is your final tonight. Cole Larsh, what do we have coming up tomorrow?
DAC-12 wrestling, baby.
Plenty of it. DAC-12 wrestling, including every single meet when it comes to boys and girls, can be found right here on Live Ticket with Vermillion Tanagers Live, along with Canton Seahawks Live. I guess you can say anyone that carries Live Ticket TV will have all the coverage of it. So if you'd like to tune into wrestling down in Sioux City tomorrow, we'll be covering from early morning to the late afternoon, all right here on Live Ticket TV. We're back here on the basketball court, otherwise coming up on Monday when the Vermillion boys take on Pine Ridge in a makeup game. We'll also let you know out there on social media who it will be in the DAC-12 NEC Clash. And it would take me too long. I could probably tell you right now if I start looking hard enough. But we will find that out on Sunday, and should be exciting to see. Nonetheless, I feel like the Vermillion boys, though, will be playing in the auxiliary gym. Probably more of a late afternoon game, I have a feeling, is what it will turn out to be. Cole, anything else? Final scores once again: Vermillion boys get the victory 76-46, and the Vermillion girls get the win 51-25. Until tomorrow morning for the DAC-12 wrestling meet, Cole Larsh, I'm Heath Nimke. Have yourself a wonderful rest of your evening.